Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's good to be back here again. It's been wonderful following the discussion with our very, dynamic guest, Adesewa. Okay, Miss Josh. Why couldn't I pronounce that? All right, maybe I need water. Okay, it's good to be back. This evening or this afternoon have been quite very, very exciting. I guess everyone who watched that program go away with one thing in mind, and that's the fact that that lady, she is very knowledgeable and has an understanding of how things work. So this evening we are going to just go straight on to bringing you in to make your comment on that. Of course, you know that Miss Adesewa have been around. She started, with Channel TV and went on to do many more great things. And now she's starting a very special program. First, when we say first, we actually mean first, not that they went to copy, something and turn it to a Nigerian one. This one has an international appeal, and it's going to air. In fact, it's airing right now, and it's called the Grannies, which makes it very interesting because it will be from Nigeria to the world, and so it gives us hope that if we had people who think about tomorrow, perhaps would have been the leaders of this century. If we had people who were thinking of their children and their children's children, perhaps there'll be less stealing and more time will be given to our young ones to be able to show their talents, because we have a lot of it. I remember those days we used to make fun of the fact that if you are a musician and not from the plateau axis, if you're an actor and not from the plateau axis, then you still have a lot to learn. And that's why we say majority of the artists who came out those days from the north, you have the bulk that came from Jos, and then the other ones came from Makurdi, Benue State, and of course a few flashes here and there, like the Mama Shatta them, Dan Maria of Jos, the Bongo Sequence of this world. Now of course in these modern times you have Two-Face Dibias, the MI, and all the lots of them who are from that axis. But again, like I said, it used to be Jos, but now creativity and all that stuff has moved down to Enugu and of course to Lagos, the center of excellence. So we can't take it away from Adesewa Josh. She used to be an anchor, and I was trying to get one of the things that took me a bit long was I was trying to download some of her reportings while she was in channels and other renowned media houses. But today she's a media, not only a host of a program, she also owns her own media outfit. She's an entrepreneur and a media owner, and that means that she has not only grown, but she's also making impact in the world. Thank you for joining us today to review what we saw, what we heard, and how you feel about it. I'm just going to go ahead and invite so that you all can come in and make your input. Now, she answered, plethora of questions from how things work from government level, and from the journalistic point of view, and from her practice. She also talked about world politics and all And I think I find, apart from the Tinubu's, her take on Tinubu and his government, not because she was supporting it, but she was saying that he took a drastic action by removing the fuel subsidy. That's the only place I seem to have, of course, you should have diverse opinion. Even those people who go to school have different opinion from their professors. So it's okay. I thought that Tinubu, before taking such a drastic measure, would have put things in place, or even consulted experts who will have told him the outcome of whatever he was going to do, so that today the Nigerian people will not be suffering as they are suffering now. But the suffering in the land is too much. And I guess that everybody who is in Nigeria or who has a relative in Nigeria knows how difficult it is to survive right now in the country called Nigeria. Here is also part of her work. She has really been around, to major media houses. And I think she has not only excelled, she has shown herself to be very formidable. And we thank God that she is not only a Nigerian, but a young Nigerian who has ideas. You can be a Nigerian and not have an idea, like some people who went to teach certain people how to behave. But we're talking about those who have ideas. And Adesewa happened to be one of those who have such ideas. We will also appeal as people come in that you join her, or rather support her and support her endeavor, and see how you can go to that channel, like it, watch it, and show your support in whichever way that you can. But as it is, we are just going to move into this and see how it takes us. And yes.
Wewe kona bia nanya na kebe ne wewe kona bia ebem jelu weje gwanu mi femgeme omuwa batanu gwanu mi femgeme ejimgubwo ekwe mbadike ekwe mbadike ekwe anọkwa mbeme jelobia iwe bụ akpa ego wee bịa iwe dọkwasị m n'ụkwụ iwe na-ayọ m wee jụ iwe na-ebe akwa ị na-ebe akwa onye na-eti gị ekwe mbadike ekwe onye ibe m na-ewe iwe nya biko wee gbuo ya ọsụkọsụ nwamkpi nya biko sugbuo ya onye ife m na-ewe iwe nya biko wee gbuo ya ọsụkọsụ nwamkpi nya biko sugbuo ya selense.
Okay, onye iwe m na-ewe iwe ya biko gbuo ya. That is where we stand. Live and let's live. But if you say you don't want us to live, nah. Make you find how you go live somewhere when people don't go see you. Because this world is for every single one of us. Nobody is more Nigerian than any Nigerian. And nobody is more human than another human being. So as long as you accept that the other person should be able to have a space, you also should have your space to breathe. Let the poor breathe. And that is it. Because if you will not do that, we'll take you to a town hall. Better. Okay. All right. So we are riding on, but I think while we wait for the people to come in, let's
President Bola Tinubu has that opportunity. Some of us from the other party believe the reason he could do that is because he bought his election. Do you understand? Nobody can say when he went to Rivers And the former governor of Rivers was trying to subliminally, put a emotional burden or blackmail. He said, I owe you nothing. He knows how he achieved what he achieved. So he has that opportunity to say, and he has done that now in states where we tell you he picked somebody as against the wish of the government.
Now you're talking about Rivers State, and some would say that the former governor also nominated himself. So were you surprised seeing his name on that list?
Who?
The member of your party, Nyesom Wike.
You see, he's not a member of our party. Let me explain. Either he is doing his youth service in the villa, he is on sabbatical in the villa, or that he has decided to be an instrument of the governing party against our party. Because as soon as it was announced, you see the video everywhere in the platform. In your program this morning, it was played where he vowed he will never be in APC because APC is synonymous to cancer. And then on another occasion, he said for the minister will go, I'm not interested. But he's not alone. There was a governor who said he was going to school. He was still going to be a minister. But his case will be worse if APC is voted. Because the man who is running now for APC does not even know half of what Buhari knows about government or national security. If you have the time, I will tell you more about what they are campaigning with as an agenda or as a rhetoric that he did well in Lagos. I will tell you, between 1999 to 2007, if you take out context, he actually performed worse than some governors in Nigeria, because the Lagos that they say he did, he improved the revenue, he only collected tax. All the infrastructure needed for a state or in fact a country to develop was on ground. Lagos used to be the Nigerian national capital. Before Nigeria was formed, Lagos was a colony. You have all the infrastructure for economic development. As-Waju didn't establish them. There was seaport, there was airport, you have commercial activity, all the embassies are there. So transaction with foreign envoys is in Lagos. All the hotels are there, headquartered in Lagos. All the banks are headquartered in Lagos. All security apparatus, every facility and infrastructure for economic development was in Lagos. He didn't bring them. As-Waju did not invite or introduce or brought to Lagos any serious foreign investor or domestic investor. And these revenues we are talking about that they claim he has generated, we are on. It's just that the government didn't have the infrastructure in collecting those. So what he did throughout this period was to collect tax. That's what they claim by revenue. And even then, the reason he did that was because the company that was collecting the tax, the company is allegedly traceable to him. So if you pick a man on the street and you tell him, I want you to collect tax in a given area, your percentage is 30%. He will be optimal. He will be highly effective. This is the summary. But let me tell you what he did in Lagos. One, he attempted to destroy democracy. He wanted to introduce what we call monarchical democracy. A democracy that is not reflected by the will and wishes of the people, but reflected by the choice of a man, and people should run around it. He introduced the concept in politics in Nigeria that we call take the queue, follow the queue.
Has just been voted into a term of 4 years. He's 8 months into the term, which constitutes 31.8% of the total time that he has. He has less than 70% of the time in government. When is that going to happen? Two, when President Buhari took over in 2015, it was the same language. Nigerians patiently followed. Today, tomorrow, they finish the first term, they enter the second term. When there is a fundamental problem with policy, time is irrelevant. 30 years it cannot work, mix in Nigeria. And I'm glad Mr. Onji is an economist. Let him challenge it.
If you look at the manifesto of APC and Asiwaju, you will discover that every promise that he put in there, unless he can show that there is a plan to create production, generate Nigerians to everything is about borrowing. And they may end up borrowing your intestine, your kidney, and every part of your being for the things that they want to do. I'm not perturbed by that, but let me tell you what they are selling to the Nigerian people, what they call renewed hopelessness. In their renewed hopelessness, what is their economic model?
You call it renewed hopelessness, but they call it renewed hope.
But let me tell you why it is hopeless. This current government is the government of APC. They don't even know. Their entire manifesto is a campaign against the government. And a kingdom divided against itself cannot stand. If read their campaign manifesto, it is activism. You are doing activism against who? You now said you want to remove subsidy. You forgot when Jonathan wanted to remove subsidy, all of them went to the street and called the heavens to come down on him.
With them, you know. So a lot of people believe that.
No, this rally make my blood pressure go up.
And the people who are asking a platform for him, who are supporting him.
So you should get a filter sometimes. Filter your thoughts before you say.
I'll continue to take blood pressure medication.
Why are you getting high blood pressure, Jonava? Now,
I'm not taking medication for myself. I'm taking it for people like Paul and some of you guys that after the January, February something, and then people like Soludo, that is a good spoiler. I thank God for his life. He's working for my.
And I am ready to die defending Nigeria in whatever way. When it is God's time for us to go, it is
and you
not
took my time to God. You are ready to defend Nigeria. I gave you the time.
No, I'm coming.
Alex, hold on. You already started.
What I'm saying, defending Nigerians is this.
I gave him my time and he's using it to defend
No, sorry. I'm sorry.
I hope that Nigeria wins. I'm never going to wish any president evil so that I can say I told you so. No, I won't wish them evil. I hope. You see, I'm not praying. There's no point. I can't pray for Nigeria to be fine. I only hope that Nigeria wins and Nigerians win. Because if you choose a dodgy doctor who has a dodgy record, who has, all sort of accusations leveled against him, to say this doctor, we think he's done this, or this doctor, this surgeon. Yes, he's a senior surgeon, he's the most whatever surgeon, but there are a lot of accusations leveled against him. If you choose him to operate on you, and you tell me to pray for you that it doesn't kill you surgery, what's the point? I can't pray. You might make it, you might not make it. My prayer won't change anything. So I hope Nigeria and Nigerians win during Tinubu's 4 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Uncle, right? I have the right to address you the way I like. You don't know what she already did to me. So learn to control your emotion, right? That is the only thing I'm going to tell you. But if you don't want to control your emotion and you insult me here, I'm going to insult you 100%.
Okay.
You understand? You cannot insult me on a normal ground. Physically, you can't insult me, right? I will treat you like a child. If you insult me physically, I will handle you like a child. I don't care your age. Do you understand? You are powerful over the camera, so you can say whatever you want to say, but you can't dare say it to me physically. You understand? I will handle you like a kid.
Can we arrange the meeting ground? Can we arrange the meeting ground?
So learn to control your emotion. You
understand? Please don't take him out. I also have a right to respond because you mentioned my name. There's no need to take him out. All you have to do is to meet them or something. And you're taking too long to admonish them.
Comment.
What did you say?
Comment.
I know, but he mentioned my name, so I'm asking to respond to him.
When he gets your time,
No. He mentioned my name.
If you want to make it rowdy, I will take you out.
Take me out, you son of a bitch. Take me out. You think you're a big boy because you're moderating.
Take him out, please.
Hello, come on. Don't use such word now.
Don't forget, that state is now an oil producing state. So they now have derivation, if you are not aware. So if you want to speak for anybody, please do not defend a character like Yabelo. Please do not.
Okay, let me respond to him. 1 second.
Do not defend a character like Yabelo. Do not.
All right, thank you, Mohammed.
The people of that state.
Can I respond to him?
No.
Then go to hell. Rudolph, go to hell.
All right.
Rudolph, I've never seen this part of him before.
Tinubu is a criminal, yes, of course, a categorical grade 1 criminal. The only person more criminal than Tinubu in Nigeria is probably Babangida. But he's a criminal, and is he fit for purpose? Absolutely not. Should Tinubu be the president of Nigeria? Categorical no. Is there a better option than him? That is subjective, so show me who he is.
Please, leaders of Nigerians, we are begging you people, our children are in the bush. I tell my son, if he no fit, come back home. God will feed us. My husband do army work, 36 years. 36 years. They never encountered this thing. But small children are suffering in the bush. Now take our children, they make money. Nigeria leaders, it will never better for you people. It will never better for you people. I tell my son, if you no fit to come back home, no be by force. Make I even see my son dead body. Nigeria leaders, Nigeria government, please do something about our children that are in the bush. Please, I'm an old soldier wife. My son joined army. He there inside bush crying with red tears. Please, Nigeria, we are begging you people, make na no live. Make na no live. Our children die every day. Please, and please, make na help our children. They are suffering in the bush. Now they sell our children, they make money, and then they are dying in the bush. Oh God, the God of revengeance. Revenge for our children. Revenge. I'm speaking this thing with heartbreak to see a soldier crying like this. God, where are you? God of revengeance, please rise, arise. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. My husband do 36 years for this army, but still, till today, in remaining money, they not pay for and say if they pay, soldier go useless the money, they give her half of the money. Till today, my husband money is still there, hang in their hands. God of revengeance, the God of widows, will stand for me, he will stand for my pikin in the bush. Nigeria government, it will never better for you people. It will never better for you people. It will never better for you people. Thank you. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for listening.
Où je vais, maman dit que lorsqu'on cherche bien, on finit toujours par trouver. Elle dit qu'il n'est jamais très loin, qu'il part très souvent travailler. Maman dit travailler c'est bien, bien mieux qu'être mal accompagné, pas vrai? Où est ton papa? Dis-moi où est ton papa? Sans même devoir lui parler, il sait ce qui ne va pas. Ah sacré papa, dis-moi où es-tu caché? Ça doit faire au moins 1000 fois que j'ai compté mes doigts. Hey. Où t'es papa, où t'es? Où t'es papa, où t'es? Où t'es papa, où t'es? Où t'es? Où t'es papa, 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 où t'es? Où t'es? Où t'es papa, où t'es?
Okay. You see, I've well, I cannot say that I've given up, because if I've not given up, I will not be here. I cannot say again that Nigeria is going to get better tomorrow, because if it will, maybe with such a woman, with such a plea, the people whose heart no longer have any milk of compassion will listen and probably reduce their expenses, because Nigeria go better. Nigeria go better. It's not a hard thing. if we decide to reduce the expenses of the government, that money will be now moved to the people. My frustration with the Nigerian people is that we don't become Akamu. Any which way they do us. In fact, you see people on this platform defending the government. And then some people are even, in fact, my own is being very funny, and I want, I don't know what's the name of that guy. If you are here now, we don't have guests, we don't have anybody yet. You can come in now, let's have a chat. Because you seem to be criticizing me so much. You start with Charles Taylor. Okay, come tell me how Charles Taylor's house look like and where it is. Come tell me what you discussed with Charles Taylor. Because I also had the opportunity of going to chat with Charles Taylor, but we didn't wait because it took us too long to be able to see him. So maybe we'll have something in common. Dan is Isaiah, is it Isaiah? Dan Isaiah 58. You have an opportunity now. Let me post the link for you. You probably have a lot of stories to tell us. So you come in and let's chat. It's not only typing away at the keyboard. It's easy to type. Come on, let's talk. All right, having said that, I want to go back to our original topic, which is the fact that I like the fact that she was blunt, she was explicit, especially when it has to do with journalism in Nigeria. And I've said that many times before. They see you as the only person you have come in to look for bread. So once money is given to you, they believe that money given to you is to you not to report, whether you are a print media or you are TV media, electronic media. They believe that you are not going to say something that will not wave out of what they have, because you know they have money in your pocket. They have money in your pocket, and so it's become the practice. And then journalism in Nigeria have taken a backstage, because now majority of the media houses do not pay salary it should, and so it makes it difficult for you as a journalist to be able to do your work. For instance, if you are going to be traveling to Kaduna, for instance, to go and do a story, and nobody gives you money, are you going to use your money to go and do the story? Now, you could say, if you are going to interview, Adenuga, and they don't give you money, you can say, okay, let me go with my money. Perhaps when I finish interview, and just like he said, he will appreciate the good work you have done. But that is not going to be everyday occurrence. And it may not even be your beat. So you cannot go and begin to do someone else's beat, okay? Because you just want to survive. No, Dan Isa, I have not said you're not welcome. Everybody's welcome. Your view is your view. But I'm saying that if you have something that the audience, the people need to hear, that we on this side are not equipped enough to know or to say the way you want it to be said, please come in and say it yourself. That is why it's 90 Minutes Africa. We are telling the story of Africa. And today, Miss Josh made herself very, very, she gave us every bit, both reporting for what she did outside of Nigeria, in the United States, in England and all that. So she was everywhere. And we enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed listening to her because she reminded me of many things gone by, And of course, she brought a lot of life to it. I think such a person should be encouraged. If such people are encouraged, they stand a better way of projecting the Nigerian image, even better than those people who have been given $9 million. If you give her $9 million, she will have done a better work than the people they gave it to, because she knows the politics on ground. And she'll be able to manage it much properly than the people who are giving it in Washington, D.C. And that is the challenge that we have. I can tell you for free, as someone who has practiced media, okay? Now, majority of our people don't see us as having the capacity to run things as it will be run in other places. So, if we keep doing that, we'll be cutting short our own people and not giving room for development. Again, I said this, and she covered every bit. Sometimes our people don't see the reason for you to, go for training. But you see, the only way you can get better is training and retraining, training and retraining. And that's why those of us who had the opportunity to work in international agencies, know what it is to be on point with your training, with your equipment, and with the style of your work. Having said that, I want to welcome Mr. Jefferson. I don't know if Mr. Jefferson was able to join in to listen to her commentary today, but I think she distinguished herself. What do you say?
Oh, sorry. Good day, everyone. I wasn't actually in the. I didn't watch that commentary, but all that being said, we're actually looking for a path forward, basically.
Sorry?
No, I said I didn't watch the commentary.
Okay. We spoke with one of our own who is now practicing in the US, but she used to work with Channels TV and many other TVs around the world, in Nigeria and around the world. Right now, she's having a new program called The Grannies, and it's airing right now. It's going to, must after airing. That's the media, what you call the premiere. And that was developed, everything was done by her and her team. So, and I know that I have not seen that kind of program before, which is very unique. It captures the essence of your family tree, and which is unique, which also gives some of us the opportunity. Now, you don't even need to be an expert to do that. If you have your father, your grandfather, and all that, you can just have them discuss, on camera, what life is during their time, what your family tree and all that, and tell you certain things that nobody can ever be able to tell you if they are not there. I think it's a unique way of capturing moments and history. That's what she discussed exactly with us. But she also touched on the practice of journalism in Nigeria and, politics and governance all around the world. She was everywhere. I don't know if you didn't hear her. I don't know if what I said was able to get.
It's fine. It's a good thing that I'll only say this, that it's a good thing we're actually doing things like this, because most times, most of our stories are not being heard. It's just by words of mouth. And, if you actually trace it in time immemorial, it's always perceived that Europeans knows how to keep more history than Africans. That has been the perception. A lot of things went wrong but I don't want to really go much into the details. But we have the opportunity to rewrite the wrongs. If you observe within families abroad, right, outside the shores of Africa, you notice that most times when a child is born, sometimes they have a video clip of that. Then sometimes they also have a video clip of maybe when the child is 1 year old, what he's doing, 2, 3, 4, just like that, And then, when they, for instance, maybe they talk on any of these prominent stars or anybody, most times if you notice, they tend to go back through those videotapes and say, oh, this is what Sophia did when she was 5. When I was 5, I used to like soccer ball. Then you see her when she's playing soccer ball and things like that. And mind you, these are also the same trends with the Serena Williams, that Williams sisters. If you check, they have a track history of what they were doing when they were younger. So these are the things that is kind of not being captured and fostered because, of course, we all know that the economy, so many factors, culture, and so many other factors actually playing into all of this. But now, I will say that within the era where these things can be done, where we can capture some moments, of course, good moments, and track them, at least for the young ones to be able to capture and see what was done. Sometimes too, when most of us want to connect to what our maybe parents, grandparents, and great-grandparents did, sometimes we try to see if we can see any clip, which helps us to connect with what was being said, how they spoke, or maybe a loved one. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say. So, in that perspective, that was a good one. And I also appreciate the fact that the show is really done to actually get grannies to speak. Because when they speak, they record the moments and those moments are not easy to get by. You know, it's not really easy to get by. It wasn't encouraged much, but now we are within that frame where we can be able to do it. As far in terms of journalism, I don't know. I may not be able to give a rough estimation. Maybe other people who actually were watching.
Yeah, that's why I said you will not do justice to that because you didn't listen.
No, I may not be, but I will say this: it all depends on how objective the person is. If it was highly objective, it is much appreciated. You know?
Yes, she was.
I mean, exactly.
In fact, she was even to the point of being brutal. So,
okay, you see, at least maybe I should. It would be safe for me to say she's within the same cadre with the likes of Cyril Stober. Maybe I'm wrong.
With the like of who?
Cyril Stober, like people.
No, she's better than Cyril Stober.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
But I know people are going to. I know Master is ready. He has already done his hand like this.
Anything, 30 million Nigerians are wrong these days. They're no longer right.
But anyway, at least for her, I don't really know much. I mean, you guys can be able to throw more light on that. Then, well, let's just keep the conversation rolling.
All right, thank you so much. While you were talking, I was laughing because when you read this conversation, sometimes you you want to fall off your chair. I don't know where these guys come from with all this thing. Now, somebody is in the earlier program. I said I was admitted into university to read law. And now somebody's asking me, why didn't you study law? By now you would have been defending the widows. Come on, you guys, And then
one thing you need to understand is
telling me that because I said I was
to stand. Sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. It's one thing to read something like, oh, this is what you are studying. It's another thing to have the aura and the talent.
For me, I'm somebody who have always known what God has asked me to be right from when I was 6. So it wasn't even. I just knew where God wanted me to be and what He wanted me to do. So it wasn't a question of it. Don't even my father decided. I just knew where I was going. So, and I have no apology. No, I don't. I wasn't coming to be Bill Gates or Elon Musk. No, I was satisfied being just somebody who knows what is right and did it. That's all I'm concerned about. After that, nothing else. Okay, having said that, I want to move on quickly to Maska. Maska, you're welcome, and Nick, you're welcome also. Let's take Maska. Maska, how do you assess the guests and all that she said? And if you have any inputs before we come to the video that we played, I guess that video will come later, but let's just deal with our guest now.
All right, thank you, KJ, and good evening, KJ. Good evening, Jefferson. Good evening, Mr. Mike. Like I said in my build-up to the question I asked her, I like her. Let me start from there. She was a slow burner, but I guess later on I realized it's not that she's a slow burner. It's like these people that adapt to their environment or to their audience. You could see at the beginning accent issues. She was spending so much time trying to arrange her hair, but by the time she realizes that, okay, look, these are the kind of people I have found myself among, she has thrown all that out of the window. I think towards the end, like if you look at the person at the beginning of the interview and the person at the end, you wonder, like, are these the same?
But very correct.
What has happened is that in the end, the true her came out. I didn't like the initial person that started the interview. I really didn't. Honestly, I didn't. It's like, there were a lot of issues that I didn't like. Of course, normally, yes, as an African, you would want our women to have to float their natural hair. But I'm not too big on that. Look, the society, if you are not a woman, you cannot start talking about what it is being a woman. I mean, like, you are not the one that guys will be jilting you in favor of people who are carrying a fake hair. So nobody should blame you when suddenly at some point in your life you decided, okay, if hair is the issue, me too, I can go and wear this hair. So I'm not a woman. I wouldn't want to sit too much in judgment of things that really I'm not in a position to talk about. But I'm just making the point that at the beginning, there were a lot I didn't like about her. But like I said, at the end, really, I was actually very, very proud of that lady. There are many things that was good in my mind about the interview. Most importantly, she did at the end. She had thrown away all pretenses, and so we had a very raw audio. What's the word? Guest who truly she put up who really she is, and is a good person. I saw somebody whose head is correct. One of the first things that she said that I really liked was she said something that I can relate to. Something that even when I was younger, it was a defining point for me. It was an aha moment when she said it was very clear to her early on that she would want to walk as an elephant, but she also would not want to walk as an elephant and then get paid like an ant. And what I read from that is she understood this concept of the food chain. What I realized early in my life is that the people who are at the lower rank of the food chain, you will work 6 months. What you will get is not going to be a quarter of what somebody who is a middleman will come to your village, buy what you spend 6 months going to the farm producing. On that day, in that single day, you will make exactly what you have spent 6 months doing. And so it was something I liked about her. And the second thing she said, she really wanted to find herself in a financially comfortable position so that she will not be drawn into the mud, so to speak. I'm just paraphrasing her, meaning that the way I interpreted it is she's a very realistic person also. She understood how life really works, because you can't say you are going to be honest if you're very poor. At least the starting point of your integrity is to be financially comfortable or economically comfortable. So at least when somebody is trying to bribe you, you are not in a desperate position. You can look at the person and say, no, thank you. It's okay. Don't worry. I don't need it. And I tried to also Google her, and I could see that, okay, she's worked in Nigeria. She's worked in Turkey. She's worked in a lot of places. And so towards the end of the interview, when she was talking, I could see the confidence is not that comfort in her skin. It's not because of anything, but the fact that she's gone through so many things in her life. And you remember she said there was a time when even when she was on the air, her boss during a break would come and make her cry. So all this combination of experiences and exposure, it puts you in a place where, I don't know how to put it, but like you've seen a lot. So you are not going to be, the things that you are yet to see, they are not plenty. So it makes you a bit more comfortable. I really like her. And the only unfortunate side for me, the downside, it's I think she's at a prime point. She's at the prime of her career choice. But what I'm sensing, it's she's also a bit inclined towards a very comfortable life. That came true to me. I know that, look, these are the kind of people that she would have no problem working for a Tinubu. Absolutely no problem. As long as they will pay her well, she will go and work there. for me, I mean, I don't want to judge her, but look, I'm not going to hold it against her, but I'm just saying that for a brilliant person like that, who has rose through her own chosen career and has made a good mark, they are the kind of people at her age now, they are the kind of people that can actually begin to make a difference for us. And I know that that lady, if she decides, for instance, now let me just give you a simple example. If she decides that, okay, look, in the next 2 years, whatever it is that I've made as money, as name, as success in my career, I think I want to just go probably say, this Peter Obi that is making waves in my country, I want to go and be part of his, what's the team now? Media team. That lady can transform his movement. But I don't think her head is in that space now.
And Maska, I want to, from my own personal experience, I want to let you know that if she even decides to go, those who are already in the media team will not allow her to even make any impact. And I'm telling you that because I won't mention the political party,
They are KG. Trust me, that girl that you see, that lady, is a very smart lady. She would dabaru all these people. Look, it's not easy. I'm not superfluous. The last guess, what's the name of that guy that Rudolph brought? Ginger Media.
Yeah.
I had to caution, I have to pinch myself, like, what is it? Why do you have a problem with this guy? Why are you on him? I have to fight with myself to slow down.
Not only you, me, well, I don't want to say it on air, but I've always known.
So the point I'm making,
we don't.
For me, somebody was saying that I was really running praises on the lady, but that's the truth. The truth must be told. Unfortunately for me, I can see quality. If I am working, if I'm going to contest, say, as a politician today, I'm going to get that girl to work on my team.
Okay, I thank you.
And the last part that I also feel is a bit of a downside for me. I think she understands, there's a lot of understanding in her head. And she is not apolitical as she seems. She understands politics very, very well. I think she also understands the nature of the problems, not only in Nigeria, but I think across Africa, because I have a sense that she's reported across the continent. She's very much aware of, in her mind, she now has a clear idea of what kind of things will work, what kind of things will not work. And unfortunately, during the interview, I think Rudolph didn't push her so much towards that end. It wasn't too much of a political interview. It was more of a media interview, which is okay, which is fine. But obviously, for somebody like me, my interest at this point is, look, how do we salvage the country? Yeah, I mean, I would sing praises. I would be happy to support anybody who is trying to pursue his career. But I would have loved the questioning, even from Rudolph, to have gone in that direction, and a lot of the other questions also after the interview to have gone in that direction. I really would wish, one of the things I'd wanted to suggest to her, but I refrained from it because it would sound didactic. You will come across as if you know everything, like, who is this guy trying to teach me or about life? But I would have loved that lady to start contemplating putting a lot of things that she has experienced in her life into maybe a book or maybe a documentary, maybe a series, or maybe something to do with a little bit of politics, so to speak. Thank you.
Expecting that she will have such a thing. She's too intelligent not to have it.
Exactly. Okay, you just captured. For me, I think it will be a big loss, even for the whole continent, if she's not going to veer off into this direction at some point and do either a documentary or a book or some series or some TV show or something like that, or, like I said, even jump into the whole politics itself, or what she finally advised, this mobilization, this grassroots mobilization. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Masker. Nick. Yeah, welcome, Nick.
Thank you so much, KJ. Micah, I greet you. Jefferson just left. So, yeah, thank you so much. It's good to be here.
It's good to see you. I'm not sure you have featured in any program I have hosted before.
Yeah, I've always been one of the chat warriors fans, you know. But when the guests came on board, it's very interesting that we are at those time in the world where journalism and media has become so manipulated that if you don't even know what to believe anymore, right? So when the guests came on board, I felt it was the right timing. Do you want to start considering the issue in the Middle East? Do you want to start considering the issue in Nigeria? So you look at everything, and then having us speak about our experiences and our work, particularly from our own lived experience, then you start questioning yourself about the things you've heard in the media and start saying, what is going on here? Yeah, you look at the behind the scenes of what these guys go through, from a personal level to even the guests they are even going to interview, right? But I think that she came with some form of transparency, right? And I really appreciate that. And I think it takes immense courage to pull back the curtain on the humiliation that she actually have gone through, and also by extension to journalists as well, what they go through behind the scene. And particularly putting it in our own lived experience. For me, it did that for me, and I think our testimony confirms to me why I think I and so many other Nigerians and concerned Nigerians actually might remain deeply, deeply skeptical, and why we aren't just skeptical of the news, but we're also very skeptical of the infrastructure of truth in Nigeria, in this country, right? Because when a journalist is unpaid, she made mention of that part. I was like, what? This is my first time of hearing a media outlet for a large part don't pay their staffs. I was bewildered by that. It's scary to me. Because these are people handling what the masses are consuming. And you don't pay them. They have a very delicate work. So they have to be paid. So when she talks about the unpaid nature, sometimes unpaid nature of the work that they do, even the humiliation and even that silence gift that they receive. To me, the average Nigerian loses their eyes and ears. And my assessment, of course, is this: um, we cannot have a transparent Nigeria without a dignified press. I believe that we can only have a culture of transparency when our media outlets and our press is dignified. Because when you look at our experience, you can see that we have been in this mess for a long time. You cannot but imagine. And transparency to me isn't just about the government opening its books. It's about media houses, taking this step, paying their staff first of all is a living is a living wage for me, right? So she made mention of some really tangible things that I think were really particular, and she took so much courage, to pronounce those things and to dispel those things. I cannot but keep thinking about the sometimes dehumanization of the journalistic profession, right? When the journalist is forced to kneel and perform some acts of subserviency, for a source, to me, that is really dehumanizing. Telling that to kneel down and shouting, that kind of dehumanizing nature. You can see that. And how these people weaponize poverty. It's alarming to me how journalists are receiving gifts, and because when you receive those gifts, you cannot publish the truth anymore because you have corn in your mouth. Oh, I say about corn. Now you have eggs in your mouth. Corn has become a very sensitive word now in this administration. So now you have stuff in your mouth. If you can't talk anymore, so it becomes a really big situation. And I cannot but think about and reflect on how long we have been in this mess and how far we are still to go in this mess. I was talking to a friend the other time. I was speaking about how different countries are, they're having these nuclear wars and just throwing nuclears everywhere. I said, wait a minute, we have more than 54 countries in Africa. And when the Third World War comes, I hope it doesn't, There's no African continent that can stand toe to toe and say, okay, let's start a nuclear war. Is what I'm saying. Like, it's crazy. We cannot. No, it's like black lives don't matter anymore. Because you can imagine the way the world is going. People are talking about, okay, we need to fortify our military. We need to fortify our technology. Look at what France is doing, what other countries are doing right now at this current dispensation that is very, very fluid and very delicate. And I've never seen a news from any African country speaking about how can we develop ourselves military-wise, technological-wise, to come back to what might happen in the world to come. You see what I'm saying? So, and when you hear journalists speak about this, then you wonder, what exactly are we doing? So to me, the guest spoke very well from my perspective and our lived experience, right? But considering it from an average Nigerian perspective, what does that mean to an average man on the street of Nigeria? What does that mean to an average man that turns on the TV and watch channels TV or Arise? What exactly are they consuming? Those questions are very pertinent to me. But anyway, I give her kudos. She really tried. I don't know if I spoke too much, KJ.
Thank you so much, Nick. Nick, what it simply means is that we have that what you said is what also troubled me when I was still on a daily basis doing that. That we have turned the pyramid upside down. In Nigeria, the poor don't make news except 100 of them died along the road. That's the only time it makes news. Nobody will, except for few outlets like mine that was not, had nothing to do with the Nigerian government. So we go out and do stories of the ordinary Nigerian. Okay, I don't know who is doing this one now. We go out to do the story of ordinary Nigerians who are how they are running their lives. We first started noticing that trend. If you did any media school, you find out that it was taught towards the time we were living that and that was the framing of the government. So let's put it on the right place. That we Africans should do more of developmental journalism. We shouldn't do what the West is doing, because our own is a developing country. So what we should be paying emphasis on is how to report how food done. Government has done this. Government commissioned this. I don't know anybody who has seen any commissioning, done anywhere outside of, Africa. Anybody who have gone to any place you are driving along and you saw the mayor of New York going to commission one road, or people are gathering and waiting for hours for the governor of Maryland to come and commission one road, and then he comes with his suit, and nobody will do that. Nobody will do that. So now they move that pendulum, the pyramid upside down. So it becomes that those who are supposed to be the ones that the government is concerned about, we are the ones laboring and taking care of the government. And as for whether if anything happens to, and God forbid that the war gets to get to Africa, they all have their private jets. They will put their children in and simply fly away and leave the rest of us. That is where the problem is. But when we talk about it, we sometimes reduce it to a tribal thing. But I'm certain and I'm sure that anybody who listens to Miss Josh today will know that she didn't only speak about journalism from the practical point of view. She spoke it as it is being practiced, even till tomorrow. It's just that she didn't want to call names, but she spoke as anybody would have loved her to speak, and anybody who wanted to hear the truth to hear it. Look, this lady, and I'm not saying that because she's good, but majority of Nigerians who are outside Nigeria are good. They are good. Okay, they are very good, and because the small space you are giving, the small space, not even that they give you a lot of space because they know that you are still a foreigner. The small space they give you, you expand so much, they say, okay. But our own space, people know they see your creativity. People know they see your expertise. People know they they see them, even if they see them, they don't want. They go see consult somebody. So now let's just practical example, which I spoke earlier. Nigeria you want somebody to lobby for you. All the Nigerian PR people, none of them made any sense, except you go to somebody who go Igbo man. There are Nigerians there who are working close to the White House. You didn't take them. Whose business is PR job for other multi-million dollar companies. They are saying Nigerian Institute of Public Relations, very well practicing public relation outfit, who has professors in it of communication who are lecturing in foreign universities. Okay? You didn't go to consult them. This is the problem we have. What shall we do? You took our resources. You brought it to DC. And you go to a man who, after you finish paying, you say, all these people are just wasted. They take your money and they are running their own affairs. Okay? The best they can get is to get your wife's name in the list of invited people. That's all. So this is something we need to discuss widely and find a way, those people who are close to government, to give them advice that we also have experts in Nigeria who can do these things, even with a smaller amount of money. Okay, and that way you'll be creating job and opportunity for the people around Nigeria. Anyway, thank you so much, Nick. Let's wait. Okay, yeah, you have something to say.
Let me just quickly ask Nick a question. So you said you are one of the keyboard warriors. So what is your name on the keyboard domain?
Well, I don't.
No, you need to tell us. I want to know if you're one of those guys.
I will keep that as my own private.
No.
That's not fair now.
Okay, no, it's okay. If you want to keep it, it's okay. But we will talk. Whilst you are the people, we also love that sometimes you come in and put your own content.
Yeah. KJ, you have spoken about something that is quite worrisome to me, right? About how we have governors in Nigeria and political officials who will dress up in suits and ties and go and be inaugurating and opening roads. That's how low we have become. I've never in my life left Nigeria like 10 years ago. I've never in my life seen the mayor of my city go and stand under the sun and they are cutting ribbons for roads. So we made road construction a major achievement in Nigeria. In the 21st century dispensation, road is still a big deal in Nigeria. So it shows how low we are as a people. But that's by the way. One of my critiques for the guest is that while she was speaking, and please educate me if I'm wrong, she seemed not to have a problem with the government kind of restricting social media and media. She has no problem. She seems not to have a problem with the government regulating the media. Am I wrong on that? And that, for me, that's a big problem. Because if you have a nation that the government has the autonomy to regulate the media, it means you can only consume what they want you to consume, whether it's propaganda or it becomes really fluid. What do you say about that? Probably also.
Yeah, Oscar, you want to answer that?
I'm supposed to, if I'm asked to answer, I don't think a question was asked in that regard. But yes, I will agree with you. Like I said, I think she's a very practical person. She would not have issues. I mean, given that she's a journalist and she worked with somebody like John Momo, I think she would be realistic enough to know that whether we like it or not, freedom is not absolute. If you're going to be honest and realistic with yourself, So I think my suspicion is that she would fit that picture you're painting, But also to come back to my own personal position, I think, yes, there's series of attempts to gag the social media. But I think the social media, I live here in Nigeria, I think there's still a level of freedom. It's not like it's fully gagged. So I think that's it, KG. And obviously, I always like to say that this is not my terrain. I'm not a journalist. I'm also not... I'm more of like an analysis person, not a communications person, so to speak. And I'm a bit conservative, to be honest with you. I don't believe in absolute freedom. For instance, in my family, you can't, it's not like you say everything in my family, in my house. I mean, there are things you should say, there are things you cannot say. I don't believe in absolute freedom. I believe that we should be careful some of the things we say. Even on the panel, sometimes I quarrel with people. There are some people who will come here and say some things that I would have actually challenged a couple of people a couple of times, that yes, there seems to be an absolute freedom for you to say what you want to say, but you should think through. In my language, they say magana zarangunu. It's like talking is like pulling out the grass out of the bunch. Once it comes out, you can't return it. So before you say it, you need to weigh it and think of the next person if it's going to have a damaging impact on the other person. But I think that's where I will leave it. Let me not raise too much controversy too early in the day.
For me, as a journalist, I will tell you that the moment you start trying to put some form of control, it doesn't always stop. Let me say this again. I repeat myself. Government is always looking for how to take control. It is for us, the people, to continuously to resist giving them control of our lives. Because each time they take control, they put regulations that will stop you, and they will keep cutting off you until they bring you to a very small point where you can no longer operate. I'll give you an example. They went to National Assembly and they say now there's cyber stalking. They say it does not, journalists are exempted, but they've arrested a lot of journalists who some of them are locked up today. They are accused of stalking because they publish a story and they want them to bring out the person who gave you the information. Why would they give you the person who gave the information? It's not that. That's not. He shouldn't do that. But you see, they said they are exempted, but they are still being punished under that same act, or they are detained. You see, when they detain you for 3 months, 4 months, tell me what is different from going to prison. The detention is already bad enough because both yourself and your family, everybody falls apart. Well, Chim, you are welcome. Did you follow the brilliant submission of Mrs. Adesewa Josh? Josh. Adesewa Josh. Sorry. Yeah, maybe I don't know if I'm getting old. Masker, is it that? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, you're old. Don't say you are getting old. You're old, my brother. We are old.
Okay, I didn't know.
No try.
Anyway, I didn't exactly follow. I was busy with something else, but occasionally I watched when she was talking about her her program, and I joined when she was saying something about government and the fact that government is looking for people to help them launder things. They should come and pay for it. After that, I cut off, and then the next time I watched was when she was talking about the Grannies something that she has and all that. But I didn't exactly watch, so I can't. In all honesty, I can't interrogate anything she said. But I'll just perhaps chime in on this issue of regulation. It's not good to regulate media. The media should have maybe a code of ethics. Do we have twins today sharing? Is that your twin sister?
Yeah, that's my elder sister. She's here.
Okay.
And I've been telling her about this show. So she was like, every time you're in the classroom, what kind of classroom? So that's why I logged in. Let me introduce you guys to her. Hey, Master, this is KJ. This is Dr. Amake Zimora.
If you what you need to do, you should sit on the chair. You should sit by the side.
Okay, Doc, come over here.
That's how it is. That is how it is done.
Hi. This is Maska. Maska is in Nigeria. Chin is in Canada. I don't know where KJ is in Maryland.
Okay.
Who is this?
Nick just coming.
Where are you?
My name is Nick. I'm in Tennessee. I just joined today.
Okay. Yeah, she used to live in Tennessee. Okay.
Oh, really? Where in
That's
Tennessee?
where she did her residency.
Where in Tennessee? Mahari? Oh, it's just Mahari. That's Nashville, right?
Yeah, Nashville, yeah.
Oh, nice to see you virtually. I'm in Nashville, precisely, yeah. Yeah.
And who is this over here?
Jeffrey. Jefferson.
No, this is Jeffrey. Yeah.
Jeff.
And this is Master. So this is my classroom. Every time you call me and I don't pick up, this is where I'm always Saturdays and Sunday.
That's nice.
Yes.
All right. And the KJ is the class monitor.
And KJ is our class monitor.
And Ify is the assistant monitor / timekeeper.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, I will be back to join you guys when she.
All right, no problem.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Doc.
All right. So I just wanted to chime into what Nick was saying. And
I'm late. I came to meet. Sorry.
All right. So I don't think at any point regulating the media is good. The media should have a code. In the US, they have the is it NCC? Is that what they call them? Yep. They set a code, but they don't go gagging.
Is it in Nigeria?
No, in America they have NCC.
But in Nigeria we have NBC also.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, but the difference is that the NBC is regulated by government. That's the problem with that of Nigeria. While the NCC is not controlled by.
They're not controlled. They set the parameters for how things are done. And FCC, thank you very much, Efosa, FCC. I appreciate that. You have the FCC, they just set standards, and all the media houses know their standards, they follow through, and all that. The thing about the stage where we are as this people is that there's what we call creative destruction. If you take note that every industry or sphere of life goes through that creative destructive process, and usually when there is excessive control, you kill that creative destruction. Creative destruction simply means that. So you remember at the early stages, for those of us who grew up in the late 70s, 80s, most of all the banks in Nigeria had the government control. First Bank had government in it. UBA had government in it. Union Bank had government in it. AfriBank had government in it. And all those, they all had, government had its tentacles in all of them. And then, of course, we had NTA. But when you start letting competition come in, that's when creative destruction starts happening. And that is what you see today, which is what Adesewa was talking about when she was saying that that TV is overglossed. You know, TV, when shows are done, they come and if you've gone for any production, you see that the final output is not the way it's done. There's always cut, stop, and then they create it, and then we see this glossy, beautiful looking thing. But what you and I are doing is live, unfiltered, natural. We don't do this thing and anybody goes to chop them off and present some finesse. As we're doing it, people are consuming it. If you watch Piers Morgan or you watch, what's his name? The place where our brother went and created problem. These things are done live. People are watching it live. What they might eventually load, they might go, if it's long, they might cut it a bit so that it fits into a mode. However, modern production in the media is not edited. It's live. People see everything. And that's and it's because of that creative destruction, it is destroying things and creating something new. It's creative. It is that creative destruction that has produced a lot of businesses, produced our phones, the phones we now have, produce a lot of things that we now have. So anytime you overregulate, you hamstring creativity. You hamstring creativity. And that is why, for people who don't know, Nigeria is not really growing in a lot of things. Because government keeps trying to strangulate things. The only industries that you have seen have unleashed are the places where government does not have full control. Music, movie industry, to an extent, sports. Even those sports too, they are killing it because they are over putting their hand into it and everything. So I would argue that let people teach standards, like what Masker said. That he said, how did he put it? Masker said that liberty is not what? How did he put it?
Freedom is not free.
Sorry, say that again.
No, I said freedom is not absolute.
Okay, freedom is not absolute. Freedom is not absolute, not by forcing it. Freedom is not absolute by reminding people that there are consequences for what they say. But when government wants to say, oh, freedom is not free, and because of that, like Lai Mohammed and Buhari's government shutting down Twitter at the time when it was Twitter, that's not freedom is not free. Because these things, you should listen. When people say things in the Western world and somebody says something wrong, the person he says that will sue you. Do you understand? They come after you and say, okay, you said so and so thing. And which is why when during the COVID era, the Biden government was gagging media, it was not good. It was not good. As soon as he left, after a while, people started pushing back. You don't gag media. You don't gag people. It's not nice. That is when you start gagging things, then the truth starts being hidden. Do you understand? But once you let it be, then there are certain things people cannot say. Today, Trump cannot hide and do anything. He will get exposed. Presidents in many countries will get exposed. In Europe, where they try to gag them, we see how things go. So in summary, I'm just going to say that I don't agree with gagging people, but I believe in making people responsible, taking ownership for whatever it is they say, and being accountable, but do not gag people. That's the point. That's my own perspective to it.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. And yes, Jagu, you want to take a bite on it or before we go to another topic?
Well, not really, but all I would say is that it was interesting. It was interesting to, as Maska underlined, to see somebody in her natural composite. She invoked a lot of naturalism, whether you liked it or not. It was quite natural. And I always think from any individual, not just a journalist, being able to be yourself, authentic, is quite important. And she displayed that. She displayed her intelligence as well, which I appreciated. And I needed to watch her for a while before arriving at that supposition. She's also, I liked her program. You see, I feel strongly about the older generation, and not necessarily in Nigerian terms, not in any terms. The older generation is very, very important to us still. There is still wisdom to be taken from them, understanding. You see, just the look of when she presented the old lady beside her and they were communicating about the war and how difficult it was for women who were doing a lot of overdoing it with the work-life balance at that time. Where today, women who are professional, their balance is different. They hardly cook, for example. Somebody who is a lawyer, doctor, or anything at that time was rushing home to make sure that children are fed. That kind of balance is not easy to assume or to get at. So I appreciate what she's trying to do in many ways. I see as quite important. That's what I would say to that.
Okay, thank you so much. Well, maybe we better move. She was able to. Like I said, in her practice in Nigeria, I think she was one of those who stood out. and made channels to be what it is at that time. Herself, Chamberlain, Moekwe Ogun, and the rest of the pack. But the truth is that the practice of journalism is not easy. That's the truth. Whether you are in the mainstream media or you are on the periphery, it's not easy. A lot of risk is involved. A lot of risk is involved, and for you to even survive a day in a very volatile society, where people see you as the reason, you are not friends with the police, neither are you friends with the politician, neither are you friends with even the ordinary people, because they see you as the one not reporting the truth. The police see you as the one always reporting about their corruption. So even at that point, they don't want to relate with you, and the politician sees you as the one who is exposing them, and so everybody is against what you are doing. But they forget that the media is a very important part of government, because without the dissemination of information coming from media houses, the government policies and whatever they do will not be known or not be heard or not be publicized by to their society. And that's why people one of the things I learned here. Where was I? I think I was in the conference here, and the guy was trying to answer why they give the media so much hand in the US. They realized that if the government was going to be checked, it has to be media people that will check it. Nobody's following them to do that. Day-to-day running of the government. It's only what the media publicizes that the people can use to go against their elected representative, to ask them to change that policy. We must learn to do that. And just like Maska also said earlier, our government should recognize people like this, like this lady, and use them to build a very standard. Chim, I don't know if you remember when Lai Mohammed said he was going to turn NTA to CNN. Has it been turned to CNN now?
Well, everybody says they will turn NTA to CNN. He's not the first person to have said it.
But he's one who they approve money for now, because I remember that time money was approved for it.
The closest person who came to trying to I won't say almost, but took NTA slightly up, and then when he left, he took away everything that he brought in, was the Silverbird man, Ben Bruce.
Yes.
When Ben Bruce was Director General of NTA, he did a bit of finesse. He started making NTA show Champions League live.
Yes.
Because NTA was, behind the scene, when things have expired elsewhere, that's when they start showing it. And he said, you can't be a media house and you're living in the 50th, I don't know, sorry, in the 10th century or whatever. I don't know what to call that era. And he tried to improve things. However, NTA did not own the rights to many of the branding he did. So as soon as he left, he took all those things away. That's the funny thing. He was Director General under Obasanjo. As soon as Ben Bruce left, he took all those things away. NTA, the logo, he changed the logos, changed everything. So I'm still surprised that how could he have been the owner of those things when NTA was supposed to be an entity? And he was just a Director General. But apparently, he licensed those things in his own name. I don't know why he did it, how he did it. But shortly after he left, he went and opened his own TV channel, Silverbird. So I guess he went and made money from NTA's budget, used to go and open Silverbird. So that's Nigeria for you and how we do things. But there's a question here. Look at this question. Please, I have a question. What is brown envelope? So
okay. I don't know who is asking this question, because maybe Chim. Let me leave it to you to answer, because me say I don't know. Does she not know the color of an envelope that is brown? That's what it means. A brown envelope is an envelope that has brown color.
But you and I know that is not the meaning of brown envelope.
Okay.
Stuffed with cash.
Give her the one that she look for.
You and I know that that's not the meaning of brown envelope. Anyway, my guess is this conversation is coming from the angle of journalists. There's always this conversation that journalists get brown envelope a lot, and recently on this pastor Lazarus now has a podcast. So he has a podcast, and he invited this award-winning Kenyan journalist. And I don't know if you've watched it, KJ.
No.
Very interesting. I will share the link with you. Something you should go and watch.
Okay.
A lot of exposition was done there. So, and he asked the man, do journalists take bribe? I hear journalists take bribe. And the guy said, yes, some journalists take bribe. Not just in Nigeria alone, it's a global phenomenon. Some journalists all over the world, they take bribe. And he asked him, really? Is that? He said, yes. And then he said, it's called something. He said it's called brown envelope. So when he said it's called, I said, oh, so brown envelope is not a Nigerian terminology. It's a global terminology, meaning a journalist has been greased with money. And he explained the context. Sometimes stories come up, and if the story is hitting at something that's going to be critical, wherever it is in the world, a journalist might be greased. Sometimes you get a phone call and somebody will pay your airfare, fund one or two things, and then you drop the story. So the brown envelope may not be necessarily physically given to you in the form of a physical brown envelope, but it can come in other forms. But so I don't know. I'm sure you've heard it. That's what brown envelope means. So if I want to add to it,
it's like I have a friend who went to police college in Sowa and Jos, and he came back after graduating. So one day we were discussing, because now he's become an officer, and he told me something. He said, KJ, do you know that? You know the funny thing about Nigeria? I said, no. When they finish teaching you the writing, just some days before you graduate, they will now hold a special section, which they tell you, see, all we have taught you now, as you are going to the field, it's totally a different thing. And then those who are in the field will tell you how to survive in the streets and the field. So this is everywhere. Journalism is a very risky job. And the practice of brown envelope didn't start in Nigeria. Even here in the US. In fact, I don't want to call the name because I don't have money to go to court. But there is a Nigerian head of state, president, who did give brown envelope for a particular international organization to be favorably do a documentary, an interview with him, for which they edited so much. Because when you watch the original distance, they are totally 150 times different from what they took. So if they were not, because they are well greased to do that interview, they will just run it with all those mistakes in it. But they took their time, edited it so much, so tight edit, and even improve on the the voice and all that to make it look sharp. I'm sorry, the speed. So the thing is, it's there, it's practice, but it's not the right practice. It's not supposed to be. You are not a PR person. When the person comes in to do an interview, the interview the way you took to, you got it. You don't have to dress it. Okay, you don't have, other than just simple edit of color correction and audio, cleaning of the audio. You don't have to do any other thing, But because you are in their payroll, they tell you, okay. In fact, even some people will tell you, please, can I send me an advance copy before you air, and that advance copy they will sit down and send it back to you and say, you know what, this part, please remove this part, remove this part, remove this part. Okay. I have done an interview with a minister, and that's the only person, I won't call his name again, but that's the minister. I said, any day he decided to run for presidency, I will use my money to campaign for him. Now, we did that interview. Not only that was the man sharp, he took the professional advice we gave him and he turned it around and made it his own. And until he left that office, we never ever had to teach him that again. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. He took the advice, turned it and made it his own. And the interview was such that it aired the international news. And I come again to say this, for those who don't know. One of the reasons why majority of our heads of states do not feature, or they don't give them sound bites in international news is because they take too long to make their point. So nobody has that time to give you to be doing no. They don't have that time. If they on their air, I'm telling you what, you see, I have that training, I can say it, you know, I'm not.
No, it's true.
Now, they don't have the time because they are looking at their own audience don't have the patience for you to come and be clearing your throat. So the moment you start with, you know, no, the audience moves to that station. So they don't want you to make so they just take it and just write out what you have said and move on. And then when they are showing you, they just show you at the background. Then because we take too long.
Hold on, KJ. But you know the thing is that generally our people are not trained in public relations. You see, the moment you become a public figure, from being a CEO, your media team, every time you're granting an interview, they help you with talking points. They help you with how to answer questions. A lot of our public officials who eventually come to government, when they're in their private sector days or public sector, they don't go for those trainings. And listen, today you see people like Ojuso Carlos. Ojuso Carlos appeared on a TV program. I was lost. I was lost. I'm not. Forget today. You see him now. He was lost. He was starstruck. He was starstruck. I know the event where this happened. So, but he has gone to. Remember the first lady of a former president who refused to listen to her media aide, and she kept making a mess. Because people are always thought there were only two first ladies in Nigeria who have listened: Stella Obasanjo and late Miriam
Babangida.
Open their mind and allow their media people. That's why you see the way they always appeared. You had that culture and everything. But when you have all these, I don't want to learn, and they're abusing people, they can't learn. They come to the public place and they make a mess of themselves.
Thank you. Okay, well, now Adama is here who asked the question. Are you satisfied, or you have something to add to it? Welcome to the program.
Oh, okay. Greetings to the panelists. KJ, please, busy on the background of work. So if you see me going in and out with my camera off, so please permit me. So I just want you to know, I know we have to have our camera on. So my question is, what is brand envelope? Because since this interview aired, I have seen journalists come and defend things, but at the end of the day, the critical question is, how can we improve journalism in Africa? My question was, what is brand envelope? Do journalists in Africa take bribe? Is a yes or no? And why is it when they have a politician, I always hear the word allegedly, even when the case is not even in courts? Allegedly. So I don't know. Please, yes, I grew up in the diaspora. Yes, I'm a medical doctor by background. But the thing that I want to say is this. Please name journalism schools that exist in Africa. And since you have the knowledge of journalism, is it part of your training that once a politician comes on, you guys tend to use the word allegedly a lot? One, that's that. And the second one is, do you guys accept the brand envelope? Yes or no? I'm not going to expect you to say yes, because this is a live stream. So you may say no, which is okay with me. I understand that. Hold on, KJ, I'm not done yet. And what have you learned from the interview that has been trending that you would say, if you were put in that position, you would do differently? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Adama. Yes, I'm a journalist. Yes, journalists take bribe. Yes, journalists collect brown envelope. Yes, in media houses are bought over, not only in Nigeria, but all around the world. People, powerful people, sometimes get their way through because they are powerful. And it happens even in the most developed country. There are very few, and there are exceptions. So we won't come with a blanket statement saying every journalist takes bribe. But there are those who, okay, let's narrow down to the issue of Nigeria. There are those whose media houses cannot afford to pay them. So when they go out on their beats, that's the only place where they will get money to go back from where they are coming from. And that's the only place where they will get money to either run their own program, if it's their personal media outfit, or be able to take care of their own business. Now, there are very few times that, okay, let's give a practical example. The Nyesinwike's monthly media chart is paid for. He pays the people to move their OB studio to where he is. He pays for every camera person, every camera, every microphone, every producer, every host, whoever is there is paid for. Again, he pays for the OB van that comes with them. So at the end of the day, when you go for such an interview,
is that good practice?
Yes and no. Yes, if it is done in good faith. For instance, government has a government program, and government will pay your OB van. You take your OB van and go. Okay, government can pay for that. It's practice all around the world. Okay, that is not a bribe now. This one we're talking about is official government work. You want coverage. CNN does it. All of them do it. They go there with their this thing and they cover the event. That's okay.
Hold on, KJ, still on that. Still on that, so that you answer. Are you saying that when you go to the White House, so Fox is in the White House, CNN is in the White House, MSNBC is in the White House, BBC is in the White House, Al Jazeera is in the White House, during those White House conferences, are you saying the White House pays for them to bring their OB van?
So now, listen, don't get things confused. What is OB van? Outside broadcast station.
I know. Yeah.
Now, if there is a press conference going on in the press room, nobody pays. You don't get paid for that. They don't pay you for that. It's your beat. You have decided to put your people there. Okay. There may be other largesse that will come out, but not because they are paying you for it. So, for instance, if you go to such a place, you have a eating. There's a green room, as called, a place where you can go have biscuit, have a coffee. Just eat to wait for whatever news time that they're going to wait for. Those things are not paid for. They are supplied there officially. But after that, if now the Oga of the place decides that tomorrow I want to have my birthday covered, okay, and I want you people to come and cover it, he will pay for it now. It's not a government function.
Okay,
you pay for it.
There's a question I want to ask. This is a very, very tricky one.
It's the same thing with what Adama has.
No, it's in line what's being discussed. So we need to start from the fundamentals, right? I know yourself and Chim, you guys are into the journalism business. So if we are to classify, where does the journalism fall under the hierarchy of governance? Because the reason why I ask this thing is that
journalism of the government. When you have so what do you mean by where does it fall?
No, hold on, because I believe that if the journalists are doing their function in getting news and all of that, they should be operating independently, right? And without any bias, fear, or favor. However, I'm also aware too that there are also guidelines in what they do. For instance, the kind of news they bring out to the public. Like, you understand what I mean? So, for instance, now it would be a slap on the face of a journalist to just bring out any story and just put out there without doing due diligence. So we are actually aware of that. However, the populace want to know what's happening on a regular time frame basis of how things are being done like get information, know what's happening. You know what I'm trying to say. So the question would be like, what is the best approach? Because most times people will say that, okay, we're in the Delo society, they still take brown envelope. So that means in our own society, we can take brown envelope. Does it mean that everything should be rubber stamped? Can't there be another mechanism that we can adopt to do things differently, where people can be able to get first-hand news on that and be neutral? We all know that we can't really get that in an ideal situation. So I don't know if you guys are trying to get the direction I'm going.
Okay.
Something, KJ, before you said, then I'll leave. Why I asked that question is this: is when the president's wife came, and there was a podcast that released that she bribed her way. The president read something and kept mentioning her name. I don't know how much he paid for that, because the press statement that was read for the president or whatever he read, he kept mentioning the president's wife's name. So when she wanted to meet with the president's wife, he said he declined. Now, the person who writes that script or whatever for the president, in my opinion, took bribe. That's why I'm asking this question. So this doesn't exempt America. Because the way Trump kept mentioning her name, you can tell he doesn't even know who Remi Tulumbu is. I'm just saying, he doesn't. Then when the man came and said he wanted to come on his podcast and went as far as paying, we all acknowledged that and said, yes, Remi Tulumbu paid her way through. So that's why I came. And let me use the word allegedly, since we're used to that word. Allegedly paid her way through, because I wasn't there. So
you don't need to use allegedly. She paid her way in. It's public knowledge.
Okay, hold on now.
I'm sorry.
Hold on. But the Christian, whatever the broadcast that was, said he refused, that she's not going to come to his platform and say whatever. So why is it that when it comes to us, we have a way of doubling down what we do? We project ourselves as professionals and act like, oh, we found out bribery. That's all I'm saying respectfully. Thank you so much, KJ. All right, gotta leave. Oga CM and Dewosa.
Okay, thank you, Adama. Yes, let's take it down. Okay, go ahead, Chim.
Okay, so this is what I want to say. When you want to make an appearance to a media house, you don't necessarily have to pay. There's a PR process for seeking to be given a slot to make that. In some instances, if the slot is something that has to do with adverts, there's going to be maybe a brand, say maybe Coca-Cola or Nike, they may need to pay because they are a marketing-oriented brand. But when a government wants to make an appearance on a media house, it might be in instances when maybe there's a story about that government. The media house might say, listen, we would like you to come and clarify X, Y, Z. You don't have to pay for that. In some instances also, you also don't have to pay if you approach them and say, hey, look at what is going on. You guys have run a story on this, and we would like a right to come and refute or present our own point of view. You don't have to pay. Nobody's going to ask you to pay for this. However, because of the way the American climb works, they make it official that in a lobby situation, you pay the lobbyist who has access to the power base to get you into the gate. In this instance, the federal government of Nigeria has been trying to launder his image on security. So they look out for supposed influential organizations that can make it happen, give them access to the government of the day. They will pay for that service. That money does not go to the White House or to the government of America, but it has come into the American economy. It will create jobs for the American media people. That's what they did. That media house uses influence to get the government of Tinubu's issue into the government of the day in America's program. Now, what they also now did was they looked out for an opportunity where the president of America was going to be. They notified the Nigerian side to say, hey, there's going to be this Christian breakfast thing going on. Are you okay if we get you a slot to send your people to attend it? We might see if we're able to get you an opportunity to have a sit down privately with the president so that you can make your own case known. They managed to get the first leg for them. The first leg was get her into that event. She got into that event. Now, take note that she's not even a government functionary. She's not, the person who should have been sent to that event should have been a government functionary, but they sent her because they wanted to use the fact that her husband is Muslim. This is my take. She's a Christian, and now we're talking about Christians being killed, and she's a Christian. Maybe that might mean something when they say, oh, she's a pastor. So they managed to get that. And then they managed to get the person writing the script to acknowledge her in that script.
Exactly what she did. That's exactly what she did.
But hold on. This is where they couldn't go further. It is not easy to have a meeting with the president of America. She wanted to be able to still get a further access to him. That was blocked. They went to step 2. Step 2 is there are supposed evangelical podcasts. Remember, we're talking something that has to do with religion. They wanted to see if they could get her into one of those podcasts, and one of the strongest of those podcasts, unfortunately for them, the guys fighting for this in Nigeria are a step ahead of them. That's the, so you see, it's checkmating them. They checkmated them.
But Tim, you forget something. You forget something. Are you aware that before Trump's inauguration, right?
Mm-hmm.
There was a pastor. I don't know if it was is it
James, let me finish my story.
Okay, go ahead. But when you go, I'll speak on that.
So what they tried to do was to get her into that she will be on that podcast and be able to defend her husband's government. Unfortunately, that podcast was not friendly to give her that access because some of the congressmen, remember they're all Republicans, have access to that podcast, so they blocked it. They already told this podcast, this is what is going on. So when the man saw the overture, he says, no, I'm not going to give these people an access to come and lie.
Yeah.
That was his interpretation. Whether they are coming to lie or not, he just said, I'm not giving them access to my platform, to use my platform to lie. And that is how they try to deny. But in fairness to them, it is not as if they bribed anybody. They are just seeking opportunity of a pedestal to tell their own narrative. That's the point. It's about the democracies. There's nothing wrong in it. It just so happens that it's for the wrong reason. And
thank you so much, Jim. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry, KJ. I wanted to.
I'm coming. Hold on. Jefferson, hold on.
Okay.
In America, and sometimes those of us in outside America don't understand it. To tip a waiter is part of the culture. You're not bribing the waiter. In fact, when you don't tip a waiter, you are considered a bad customer. So you are supposed to tip a waiter who has served you. At 10% or 1%, about 10%. No, is it 10% or 8% or thereabout of the amount of money for
that means you don't do any tipping there.
I do now, my brother. I do. I mean, I'm not. I do. It depends. You have 3 choices. Okay, you can do 10, you can do 8, you can do. I think you can do above. So it depends on what you are buying. Because if you go to buy $1 million something, you're not going to give the person $100,000 dollar because you that's what I'm saying. You have to make use of your own this thing. All right, let's go ahead.
Okay.
Why I'm bringing that in is because it doesn't look as if lobbying is a crime here. It is not. It's just a way of taking.
Let me say this real quick. See, Tim, if you well said with what you are trying to point out in the way our federal government was trying to lobby the American government, obviously because of image damage, damage control, and put that way. But we also forgot too that during the time before what they call it, Trump was inaugurated. There were pastors, there were men of God under the group of evangelists that were called to come and pray for the administration. If you check again, the likes of Kumu himself was actually called. and some other pastors, they were called to pray for the administration, which is to say, they, in a way of appreciation of,
Which administration?
This Trump administration now, before he started, you know what, they called some pastors in Nigeria now to come and pray for Trump's administration. Are you not aware of that?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay, but it happened anyway. They were called, so a group of pastors actually called and they prayed. So that should actually give you an indicator that, I mean, in a way, considering the administration is also in alignment with godly values, you know, which I know that it will bring a lot of controversy anyway. But you know, that's where they tend to align to, because if you even look in their policy, there are some things they are trying to restore back in terms of the American culture, constitution, and all of that. You know, it's one thing to lobby. It's one thing to be in self-denial. When all these things were happening and the killings were happening, the Nigerian government failed to pay attention. They paid attention. They failed to pay attention. Obviously, what was happening within their house, you know. And of course, when they now thought, and it has always been this card, when they now thought he could, Remi Tinubu can use her office as the first lady, he thought he could do that. But of course, it's obviously not going to work out for her, because the information is obviously public now. People are aware of what is going on. So there's no way that could have actually worked per se. Anyway, we know that global journalism is always what it is. It's not always going to be as straight as we see it, perceive it to be. I've even had the privilege of someone who works in NAN telling me of how they manage information on. They will tell you that if 100 people die, you just say that it's just 20 people that die. You tell the people that 20 people died, but 100 people actually died. So that's to tell you how it rose in the world of journalism. So there's never a time that all the information is going to come out exactly. However, but we are saying that it can be different, you know. And in our climate, we all know the danger of, you know, not seeing it as it is, because the people on ground are actually feeling the effect of things. It's not that's not to say it's not happening in different parts of the world. So I mean, but Nigeria is actually obviously tired, and it is that bad. If you look at this Boala and that interview that happened in is it Al Jazeera? It was that bad that even one of the journalists were even lucky that interview that happened, that there were audience that were part of it. I don't know if that's how they did all the time, but for the fact they had to ask audience, and they asked a Nigerian journalist within the audience to say it as it is, he had no option than to spill the beans, which was actually a smear on the current administration, which is to say that our image on a global scale is terribly bad. And what we can do as a people is to actually start changing the narrative. I'm not saying that everything is 100%, and we're not saying other countries are doing everything, you know. But there are things we can manage within ourselves.
Jefferson, at this point, I need to stop you.
That is actually my own.
I don't want, where you are going is even why I'm stopping you. I don't want to hear that thing, you know, because what people are saying it doesn't make sense to me. Okay, we are losing people on daily basis. You guys are concerned about changing the narrative. No, let's be more concerned about stopping people from dying, because if they don't have the ability to stop them from dying, then let them call for help. So not about the image changing. That's where I'm going. Not about the image changing.
You are getting it all wrong. It's not because of the image. Obviously, it's damaged because obviously we have.
Let's not talk about image now. I have seen people.
Sorry, KJ, with due respect, it's still part of the image we're talking about here, because it was even that bad to that the British person people had to even say something on his social media concerning how they can kill people at will and will just sweep it off and be interested in coming into a developed nation to have a better life.
All right,
which is very critical. I think you need to take note of what I just said now. It's a very sad state that we have found ourselves.
Okay, thank you. And Nick, you want to say something? You have 1 minute.
I mean,
1 minute.
Yeah. Okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. 1 minute.
Okay. Right. I think it's really shameful that we have a house that is broken and dilapidated, and then we are still trying to paint the house, right? I mean, the whole idea of lobbying for me, I don't know what advantage that brings to the nation when what is happening currently in Nigeria is like a public knowledge to almost all seriousness. Like these things are very visible to the entire world, and you are still going around wasting billions of dollars to go and lobby. What image are we actually painting here? When even Trump himself, all these guys, they are aware of the situation on ground. They have their machineries on ground in Nigeria. They have their personnel in these states that are affected. And then, so going there to announce your name and have this personal bouquet of prayers, you're just fooling yourself because those people are very much aware of the situation in Nigeria. So I think we waste too much resources on things that are not really our priority, right? And that's, by the way, very quickly again, right? The whole issue of Boala and Co. I think the journalism in Nigeria has been so downtrodden. To tell you how these people are not well equipped for public speaking. That's how Boala could go to Al Jazeera and mess up himself, because all this while he's been dealing with the channels, the Arise and the Co, and they've not been able to drill him to make him appropriate for public presentation. So he's at home if he feels like he's a superstar, but just face Al Jazeera, face Mehdi, he started shaking and raising water. So we are in a deep mess, to tell you the quality of people that we have chosen to represent us as a people. 50 million people, and it's a Boala that we can take there to go represent us. And it saddens me a lot that this is what we have produced as a nation. Just putting that out there, but I'll stop here for now. Go ahead, please.
KG is gone now.
Okay, Chim, you can take over now. I see that
I can't take over. We'll have
okay,
to
let me anchor small. Okay, who wants to speak
Jefferson
next?
taking over, that's like giving this platform to Tinubu himself.
Okay.
Well, once in a while, you have to allow Tinubu to run things.
No, so.
All right, now let me run things small. If Chim will allow me.
Go ahead.
Okay, sorry, I think Jagun want to hear. Okay, sorry, Tony is in the house. Tony, you're welcome. We want to hear your own perspective of things.
CM,
I think CM will speak. So Tony, I'll give you 2 minutes.
Good evening. You guys are jumping. You are jumping the order. I think I came last. CM is supposed to speak, or Jagun.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right, CM, you speak 3 minutes. Then after that will be Tony, and then we'll continue.
Well, the thing is, I know the discussion is really not my forte, like people say. Journalism, to me, is a terrible profession, as far as Nigeria is, as far as Nigeria is concerned. You know, when KJ said maybe you get tip or they mean all this bribe, the envelope is still brown. When you take bribe, you've compromised. It's as simple as that. He who pays the piper dictates the tune. So this noble, how do they describe them? They are the fourth estate of the realm, and then they are the mirror of the society. In fact, any society is as developed as its practice of journalism. If a developed society, you see the practice of journalism, that's what tells you. Say UK, where I am, everybody is afraid of the Daily Mail. There's a newspaper they call the Daily Mail. Don't ever, if that is what they do, the way they take their politician is, if there's a scandal, the government of the day may not come out to say they stand by you or whatever. But they will say, let's see if we can pass the Daily Mail test. Every day, if you are not on headline, if you're on the headline, the second day you are off for this, and they forget about it. But if you keep being on the headline, no way. They will call you to reconsider. What they tell you is that you have to reconsider your position. That's all they will tell you, which means throw in the towel and resign. So their journalism here is that's why the country is highly developed in terms of their journalism. They don't spare anybody. The King Charles, has to subject his brother to police scrutiny. The royal family. He hands off. He said, let justice take its course. He should answer to the police like any other person. Do you know what that means? The royal family. And the police came to the normal procedure, handcuff everything off. It doesn't matter. Peter Mandelson, the former UK ambassador to Washington, was arrested. From his house was shown. They brought a car. Then tell him, please, you have to go with us. He just joined and they took him away. You go and made a statement, everything. But normally you don't detain him for more than, I think you don't detain somebody without trial for more than 24 hours or so, or thereabout. If there is need, you apply to the Crown prosecution that you need more time. Even if it take you a year, you apply, you continue applying until you finish. But definitely you can't keep without a Crown prosecution. So that is journalism, and everybody is in it, and it was on national news. So in Nigeria's own case is that we are not. Nigeria is not developed. Nigeria is not a developed society. Forget about it. That's why when I tell people Nigeria is not a developed society, small countries like Gambia are far more developed than Nigeria. Senegal, Egypt, they are far more developed. It's not a pattern of whether this or that. There are many countries in Africa, many, more than 30 or even 40, that are far more developed than Nigeria. Yes, Nigeria is a very crude society, very crude. Look at what Daniel Boala went to disgrace himself. You see, let me use this opportunity to comment on that. You see, there's a difference.
You have 1 minute, so time is going.
Thank you. You see, okay, there's a difference between you are in opposition, just like a barrister. When you are in the court, you are interested in demolishing the other side, so that you present your case, you win. It is left for the judge who is on the bench to weigh the two and say, look, because he wouldn't take side. But as a barrister, you are interested in demolishing the other side. So, in this case, what Daniel Boala went to do is, he should have said all those things. Yes, I said it because maybe the intelligence I relied on to reach that conclusion. I now found out that when I got into government, I'm now an insider. I found out that the intelligence was faulty. Maybe I shouldn't have. That's okay. You've rationalized it. But to tell them that you never said it, oh no,
it's a
you never.
problem,
That is a shame. It's a shame because if it's in Nigeria that Mehdi Hassan is asking, anyway, they are not. Before you know it, the DSS will arrest him. They charge him for one type of say he bought petrol somewhere, he did not pay, or he jumped NNPC petrol station, he jumped you, or he knocked down one woman on the road selling granite. Just one flip, just carry him. So that is to tell you, Nigeria is not developed.
See, your time don't finish. So, KJ,
it's not developed. So,
KJ, while you were away, I was anchoring on your behalf, even though I was not being paid. You paid me for that 1 minute. But anyway, I want to say this before I go. Someone wrote on the comment section that let me talk about this. Then I can hand over to you if you don't mind, KJ. Someone wrote on the comment section, CM, what is the printing? Is that even in Oxford Dictionary? So I was like, okay, wow, maybe it's a new term or whatever. Let me check first to be safe. And lo and behold, the printing actually means formal process of stripping a member out of the royal family. So CM, thanks for that new word. We learn every day. Someone was trying to say, what does the printing mean? So at the end of the day, you see, this world is evolving, and there's vocabularies they are there that maybe people are not aware of. So it's not always good to just conclude yet. Always check the meaning. Assuming there was no meaning to it, of course, it could have been put on the slaughterhouse right now. But it's okay. That's the story for another day. I just wanted to bring that out.
Can I have a?
Thank you so much. All right, who is the next to speak then?
I think it's Tony.
Okay, yeah. No, it's
no. I just want to say something about this.
No,
thank you. My friend, can you've done a great job. It's now time for quietness from you. Thank you. Right, guys. Journalism. I need to carry on slightly from CM's position. about it being a disgusting profession. You see, I don't know. Last week, I haven't been following the Iraq defense war against America and Israel. I've seen how fantastically they've been doing, to be honest, and I knew that they are more than capable of the job that they're doing. I don't know if you've heard so-called rumors that Netanyahu was hit and died last week. Now, it was supposed to be announced today that he's dead, but it hasn't been announced anywhere in the media as far as CNN, BBC, and the alike. And the reason it hasn't been announced is because if it is announced, Israel is finished. It's over. They're going to keep that news until, I don't know, the end of the month, the new month. They're not going to release that news. And this is where it's not brown enveloping. It's that journalism is a war. It's part of the war effort, in not just because of wartime, but because of the what communication and what communication means, and how communication changes minds and attitudes. The power of the television, more so than the newspaper, is that it's very visceral, it's active, it's now. And depending on what's happening now, suggests what the media is doing. And for me, who has been looking at television, I don't watch television anymore. I haven't watched television for about 3 years. However, I know that when me and somebody else is watching television, that we can get two different things. There are some people who don't know about camera trick. Camera trick was something that used to happen in the late 60s, early 70s, when you see how they're manipulating what we're looking at. This is part of journalism. Then from camera trick, it went on to different levels of technology, is how they can manipulate what we're viewing. And then what is more is what is being said and how it's being said. And these things, people like Boala has no idea about, which is why he came on and just disgraced himself the way he did. I mean, you can tell he was lying. He knew he was lying, but truly, he thought he was in Nigeria, where he spoke rubbish, and it's acceptable. You see, just like somebody said, you can't pay money to paint a broken house and think that the house won't still look broken. Nigerians are so, I'm sorry to put it this way, but we are so pathetic in the way we see things. We believe that we can project our point of view upon the next person based on the idiocy, is what I would have to say, as to how somebody else would look at it. I can tell you a story of my grandmother. She came to London many years ago when she was still alive. And she used to be really excited about the TV. And me and her will be watching something on TV. And I can tell that she was seeing something completely different from what I was seeing. The way I had to explain to her what she's actually looking at was tremendous. And it showed me that sometimes our own perception is not reality, let alone the fact that two people can look at the same thing and see different versions of what we're looking at. I just wanted to suggest these things and see if we can begin to develop our conversation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jagun. I was just reading news that my sister, Desiani Alison Madeke, aka the former petroleum minister, was stepping out of the court in London and well composed. Well, I don't know why the person put well composed. You're not supposed to be composed. All the rest of our mates, some of them I see here, they are also well composed. They're even contesting for positions in the government. So that's what we have seen ourselves. Anyway, that's just digressing. Let me come back to what Jagun said, which is very important. And yes, Tony, what do you have to say to what Jagun just concluded? And in fact, also, Chim, I said Chim. CM, I said to overlook that your statement by saying that journalism is the worst state, because if I have to take you to that place, we will not leave this place. No. But why will you say journalism use that kind of term? Because you see, every profession, every profession has its own ups and downs. The doctors are now happening. Should we say now doctors are the worst?
I said in Nigeria. I qualified it. I said in Nigeria.
No,
I wasn't particular.
But what you are talking about? Okay, hold on, Chim.
I made a contest.
CM, hold on. When there was the former president who have gone to to heaven now, please check his interview with Aman Paul. Then they can continue. I don't want to say more than that. Check his interview. Then we can continue. You see, I want you guys to know that this thing we are talking about not only in Nigeria. It is done globally. It is done because if journalists publish what they know and what they see, we're gonna leave that in. We're gonna leave that in.
See, no, they do publish it, but they need to be induced. They do, but they need to be bribed to publish it. What I'm saying in KJ, I'm saying.
Sorry, I called that keep calling
They are not that good, though. Remember what they did during the Civil War, and now, so the British media is not the best example.
No. But
if you should go that route, just trying to remember you of that.
No. Okay, let's hear from Tony, who has been waiting. Let's hear from Tony. We'll come back to you. Let's hear from Tony.
Yeah, greetings, KJ, and greetings, guys, and greetings, viewers. I have been listening, but I'd like to put me in the picture, KJ, if you don't mind. Is the issue focusing?
Okay, we started from we had the pleasure of hosting
Adesewa Josh.
Josh. Okay. I'm used to Adesewa Josh. She was here and she was excellent. It was like we did 3 hours and more, almost 4 hours, without even knowing the time has gone, because she carried us. She's a good storyteller, so she told the story, and she told it very well, covering all grounds: Nigeria, Africa, West Africa, America, Turkey, England, and all the likes. And she was able to round up that, even though journalism is a very dangerous profession, but yet certain individuals are able to tell a story and hold their own head high, which is true. The tendency of you as a journalist not coming in contact with brand envelope is when you're working with an international organization that pays you well. I never had any problem with contacting brand envelopes. The only time I had to deal with brand envelopes was when I said to do consultancy and media assistant to certain people to help them organize their media coverages. And that's when I didn't even know the practice of brand envelope. It is some of my colleagues, I won't call their names, who from NUG office say, oh boy, if you are arranging media, newsmen to come together, you must have to arrange this thing, because that's the only way they will go back. That's how I got to even know the inside, because I wasn't practicing from the inside. I was practicing outside. I didn't have anything to do with local news, So, but when it comes to that point, you will have to do that, because I'll give you an example. Some of the people covering the news are individual, small organizations. Some of them own their own outfits. They don't have any salary. Okay? They are depending on the people who click on their news information to get money. So when they come, you need to give them transportation. It's they call it, so according to somebody who I put up here, I say it's catch and kill. They call it in America. But in Nigeria, they call it brown envelope. Okay? So the brown envelope is for transportation. Is a thank you for coming. And then you see, one other thing we're not covering here, and I think Tony will talk about that. News in other nations, the journalists go out.
It's called honorarium.
Okay, honorarium. Yes, that's the right word now. Honorarium. That's what it's called. Honorarium. Now, news in other nations, journalists go out and hunt for it. In Nigeria, government generates the news. Do you see why it is so difficult? Majority of the news that we read about in Nigeria is government said this governor said that, the minister said this, the president had gone to toilet. That's what we see as news. In fact, there was one time it was so annoying to me that was when NTA was still the only television house. Each time you go to, once the NTN news finished, they say the president, whoever it was, has done this and done that. The first 10 minutes will be president and vice president and whatever they've. And I said to myself, if you tune the news, BBC, they don't tell you the prime minister have done this. They talk about other things. If you come to CNN, they don't tell you, they talk about other things. But our own, every news must start with the governor, what the governor said, what the governor have gone to, it must start with president. So you find out that we are already having a problem, operational problem for that matter. The journalists in Nigeria don't have much to do investigative journalism. So if you are thinking that there's an attack of terrorists in Kaduna, you want them to go there, they don't have money to go. And the office not give them money. They will tell you to look for a story in Abuja there and do. And, nobody's going to give you that kind of resource. They don't have that resources. Government itself is not supporting those media houses. Let me even shock you people. Majority of the media houses in Nigeria are supported from outside. The Ford Foundation, the MacArthur Foundation, and the rest of them. You don't want me to call their name. They are all of them. Are the ones supporting the Open Society. Those are people supporting majority of what you read and the opportunity you have to even read it. Without those organizations, you may not even hear any contrary news apart from what government is saying or not saying. Anyway, let me leave Tony to come in.
Yeah, thank you for that broad enlightenment. I think there's a problem here. I think it is wrong to try to compare the practice of journalism in Nigeria with what we know it to be in some of the developed countries that we see. The point is that if you look at the spectrum in terms of development of our own institution, the journalism institution, you'll find out that they do not have enough constitutional provisions and protection as you have in other places where that we are speaking about. First of all, we have not elevated journalism to a pedestal where it can compare with the practices that you have abroad. First of all, it started with government control, and then gradually before you now have a situation where you can have now investments by people outside government media. And that has been growing. In the circumstances that we find ourselves, I think the media industry has done very well, but it has also been made complex by social media and so on and so forth, which Adesewa Josh, spoke about very well. I think the problem is not that journalism is dangerous, because every job has its own occupational hazard. But that institution has not grown to a point where it can hold its own and challenge, some of these problems that we see when we're talking about brown envelopes and so on and so forth. It's popular here in Nigeria. It's not so popular outside because you have institutions that have grown and can sustain and provide most of the needs that the journalists require. If you want to make money in Nigeria, you don't go into journalism, because they are not well remunerated, they are not well paid, they are couched. So you have to depend on the politician, you have to depend on, and even the media space, the kind of news that you have to report, it depends on who wants the environment. Sometimes there are certain news that you can't report. If you do that, you disappear, or you're harangued, or your media house is closed down. Look at, for instance, throughout Africa, you cannot find one media institution in the class of BBC, CNN, Fox News, the one you have in Russia, France, Germany, and so on. Only Al Jazeera has been able to break through, if you like, to that height where comparatively can compare with some of those news media. In Africa, you don't seem to have. So we depend on some of those foreign media outfits for news. We depend on the government. The government tells you what news you should dish out, the ones that you will not dish out. And if you do that, then you are in trouble, unless you have some big people who offer you protection. So I think that when we're speaking about the media and practices, you have to also look at the environment in Nigeria, because there are things ingrained in the system that's actually hampering the ability to project themselves. Funding, the security environment, the political environment, all of them have contributed, to the level that we see now in Nigeria in the practice of journalism. I don't think there's any media house that you could say is really doing well in Nigeria, whether it's private, whether it's government. The government agencies, depend on government for subvention. Okay, and these days you see a lot of politics, because if you can't work for government and you project news that is anti that government, you're going to be in trouble. You're going to be fired. The same thing with newspapers and so on and so forth. Your editorial sometimes in some places, when it has to do with government, you have to send it to some folks in government to see whether it's okay to publish this or not to publish that. So those are some of the problems that we have. And so if you want to remain in the business, you have to look on government. You have to depend. They give you the money, they pay your bills, and they determine the kind of news that you put out there. If you put out one that is not against the government, then you are in trouble. You don't see so much of that, outside, where, there's some level of liberalism, some level of protection, for the media. You can't do some of the stuff that those people do, carry out investigative journalism, unless you want to do it with your money. And if you go too deep and too far, then you'll be like David Fundeyi, and so on and so forth. You're haunted. So these are some of the issues that we see in that industry. And it has also now, maybe, I don't know whether you say it has been helped by social media now. It's not as it used to be. You can get news from everywhere. Some of them you have to be circumspect in taking. There's a lot of infusion of people who have not gone through proper training. There's a lot of information there that you have to filter out to be able to determine whether this is news or this is just mere propaganda. So these are some of the issues. So the media space has been clouded with quite a lot of things that it has even made the practice of journalism in Nigeria, for some easier, for some it's worse, because you don't really know who is a journalist. Anybody can go out there and put out news, and and usually the bad news are the news that people want to hear. For instance, like was mentioned here, that Netanyahu has been killed and so on and so forth. No media house has taken it. There are quite a lot of things. If you look at the Iranian, Israeli, and American war that you have here, there are quite a lot of news, depending on where you are reading it from. There are quite a lot of news, incredible things that you hear that are not reported by the major media organizations. So you have to really pick and choose. All of them, all the actors. There's nobody who's telling us the real truth, because sometimes there are some information that are classified and they are not released until the appropriate time. If you look at it in terms of deaths, in terms of assets that have been lost, people killed, how much has been spent on this issue, and the real issues that have to do with the war. Some of them, are things that are not because they border on security, they border on morale, they border on image. So they don't release some of those things. So you have a cloud of all kinds of things all over in the atmosphere. And the problem that we have is now begin to be able to filter out which one is true and which one is untrue. That's my reading of the situation. As for laundering image, that the problem that the government, if you call it a problem that the government has, it didn't start with Shiwaju. If you remember, even from the late President Buhari, there have been issues with America, particularly during Trump's first era. There were issues, and Trump did push those issues before the president when he visited, America, but you see the difference that you have now is that whereas Buhari was able to have a state visit, in an audience with Trump, here today it's been very, very difficult for Tinubu to also have the opportunity to meet the American president one-on-one. And so there's been lobbying. There's been, this present government has made a lot of investment lobbying the government, using groups, using the Chagori group, using other, interests, in America to lobby and to spend money, so that they can get a hearing, first of all, and so that they can project and present their views. And maybe some people have said that the root has to do with the personality that you have as president and the way that he came in as president. So there has been a problem with this particular government in terms of recognition, in terms of conducting business as usual. And that's why you see this image laundering, through, all true and true, I'm not sure we have the figures. The figures that are being demanding for me, I think, is little compared to, direct investments, indirect investments, personalities, companies, that are being used to kind of project a particular image that this government wants it to project. And it has failed. It has not been able to do that. So it's now been compounded by, this problem of insurrection, killings, and so on and so forth in the country. That has even made it much more difficult because the government is not coming out clean. And so it's having problems also with that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Nick, I'll give you the last say on this, then we will take our final closing, each topic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Mr. Tony? Yeah, he's spoken really well. But a few things for me, right? I think we've highlighted so many problems that we face as a people. I mean, I can recall many of Nigerian news anchors who even bully themselves right on set. I remember about a particular incident. I was watching Arise News one time. I won't mention the individuals involved for some reasons, but I think you can point out the old dots. And Rufai particularly was talking about a very pertinent issue on that show. And the other man there was trying to poke Rufai by the incident he had on one Lagos highway where you are taking you are taking the BRT lane. Right, that is not a time to bring out that situation. Whatever his intention was, I do not know, but that wasn't the right moment. And we see even news anchor themselves bullying themselves right on set. So there's this power dynamic that you see. So my own question, what comes to mind for me when I'm hearing Mr. Tony speak is that how do we begin to deal with the situation? Because I think it's not enough. I think it's not enough to highlight the issues that we face. But I think it also goes a long way to start thinking about how can we put in some works to see how we can actually work on this. Because I also noticed that the reading culture in Nigeria has gone so low. I don't know, but very often when you engage people in some conversations, you can just see that there's a problem, a very fundamental problem. But I don't blame people who are victims of these issues. I blame a system that allocates so little to the educational system in Nigeria, right? That's by the way. But how can we make journalism more juicy that people want to go into it and do actual work? So those are the questions in mind for me as we move on.
Can you answer those questions?
All right. No, let's move on so we can close.
No, it's interesting because, a lot of people, they always come and say, what are you doing? I think we should come with a solution. They come in with these artifacts. Yeah. Let them speak their own solution now. I want to hear. I don't think it's enough. We know that there's a big problem, but I don't think it's enough just to criticize the criticizer. That's not sufficient. Come with your own thought.
That's true. I hear you. But but at the same time, I think that while we criticize, right, which is very good. I mean, I like that. But at the same time, I'm looking at the time that we've been dealing with this whole thing coming along, right? How long we've been dealing with this whole situation. So what are the steps that we can take? You see what I'm saying? Right from now. We had this guest spoke really well from our own lived experience about what she's gone through in the media. And we've spoken about all this stuff. What can we do as a people? How can we move to the next step? What are the practical steps we can take? You see what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to say, okay, let's criticize or no, but I'm saying, what can we start thinking about at this time?
Okay. Well, you see, if I may, you see, KJ, sorry, it was CM that said there are good 30 or 40 African countries that have better developed societies than we do in Nigeria. And that's a fact. We just spread out that we are the giant of Africa, we are the richest, we are the best. Boasting. Just boasting. Upon what are we boasting? I don't always know or understand, nor do I agree. However, because people are more honest as Africans outside of Nigeria is the issue. Yeah. That's all it is. The breakdown of our society is that we love lying and we love getting away with lies and we like talking rubbish when there's a real matter at hand. When
a government spokesperson like Daniel Bwala goes on the world stage and disgraces himself, the country he's representing and the government again, that tells you what you need to know. Any country is as developed as the standard of journalism they practice, because it means what you tolerate and what you do not tolerate.
Absolutely.
So in Nigeria, I think they should deepen it. But if I'm to offer a solution, it should start from funding.
Yeah.
The way in Germany, in Germany, they have what they call Bank of Industries. The customers to those banks are industries. It's not an individual thing. Just like where you have maybe PZ in Nigeria, Julius Berger is an industry. So these are people they put the money for them to go and take the money and use it to develop their industry. So there should be it should be a deliberate thing. There should be funding for free media in Nigeria. They should vote billions and put it somewhere. But they should be accountable on how they use it, such that if you're a journalist, and the standard must be high, if you are to be a journalist, you should be regarded the way they regard a chartered accountant, a medical practitioner, a senior advocate of Nigeria who is a lawyer. That is the level they should look for. I mean, it's not an all-commerce affair. I mean,
the same way our taxes is unconditional.
There should be funding. There should be money. There should be money for them. I'm serious about it, because so that a journalist, because if you're afraid of a journalist, the society will be good. Because what you now face is that what if the media should publish this type of thing we are doing here? You'll be afraid, because they are not going to take money from you. They will damn you and then put it in. They have evidence. So until the society recognizes that, and that has to do with
gentlemen, I like your faith in what you're saying. We have published the media have published David Omaye and the girl. What has happened now? Should I go ahead? You see, I want you guys to understand that it's not the journalist that is going to change the society. Yeah, not every journalist will be practicing the correct way it should be practiced. But the ones who have even practiced and brought out stories that touches their heart, what has happened to them, and when they come for them, what does the society do? You see, we're talking. Hold on, CM. Let's not do it. Look, listen. A journalist goes to apply for information, okay, and they goes to court, and the judge refused to grant that information. But there is Freedom of Information Act. Based on your Freedom of Information Act, you go to a ministry and apply. I want to know how this and this and this is done. I want the papers, and you are refused, and you go to court. The judge approves that you should not be given the paper. Okay. So it's not as easy as you could make it look at.
it just tells you how
the
this
example
thing
you
goes
cited.
now, because
Please, one moment. The example you cited with Dave Umahi, the lady went to the media with a story. They call it selling story in UK. You want to sell a story very salacious. Now, the media backed you to bring it up. The lady now retracted and denied. I mean, how do you explain that? The lady went to the media to come and explore, to say a lot of things in an attempt, and the people bought into it. Not even a journalist now. No, I'm coming. It's not even journalism now. So now, when the heat is on, the lady now retracted and started saying he's sorry, he didn't mean the. I mean, the lady should be prosecuted.
So you have taken that example.
Public.
Maybe that's not a good example. Hold on, CM. Maybe that's not a good example. Yes. What about the example of the East-West Coast Road and the investors from the US? The media took that story. What happened to that story? Did it ever become anything? Did they make out anything? Did the government ever question the purpose, the reason why that the man had to leave the road very far away to go and encroach on that land and even boast that he can take off all the land and you're taking it? These are pertinent questions.
You do it the Delegiwa type. Delegiwa in the sense that instrumentally, you hit them once, nothing comes out. You do it after while you hit it. That is
then the Delegiwa treatment is given to you. My neighbors, no, I go come look for how I go take care of my family.
You see now.
It's only those who are in the top of affairs that determine how the media outlet is being run, and I'm afraid that's what we have resulted into.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
So the INEC and the this thing should be in the same category of operating independently for the people.
See, I don't know what you guys are saying. There are many examples out there. BBC published how Wike rigged the election in River State. Okay. Then what happened to that?
No. BBC Africa. We need to specify. You know, we have BBC Africa on Nigeria.
It doesn't matter. BBC is BBC. BBC.
It's not that it's BBC.
Okay. All right. If you have something to tell us, what is making you laugh?
If I came on just to be introduced to your sister, she don't go now.
She don't go. She's working in the morning.
I see.
She was like, so this is where you spend your time. Every day somebody calls you. You're on the show, you're on the show. Don't you get tired? I said, I don't get tired. That's why I don't go. Listen, I just opened Nigeria adds Chinese language to senior secondary school curriculum.
Yeah. Wow. That is Nigeria for you. We not add Yoruba, we not add Hausa or Fulani or Idoma, Igede, Itolu. We didn't add those ones. So we didn't say, okay, people in your region study your local languages to a certain level. We didn't say that too.
It will be easy.
You know they used to do that.
If I'm
to do that.
If I'm to defend government, it may be a case of China is an expanding economy.
That's right.
If you learn their language, it's easy to integrate easily when you get into the country. You learn it in secondary school, you do your university course, you go to China, you might get a job. Something
it shouldn't be compulsory.
No, you see, we are brainstorming. Hold on. See, no, I'm not speaking for government. I'm just trying to make sense of it. See, then China is more like they are running Nigerian economy indirectly, maybe through the back door and the rest of Africa, so to speak. So if the language, you arm yourself with the language, you might be an aid to them when they come to Nigeria looking for, this stuff. So probably, after all, why do we use English? Because it's widely spoken and the language of the people that colonized Nigeria make it a lingua franca. Why do people use French? So why not China?
Let's move on.
Chinese?
Don't want us to divert, but I'm telling you that if you like, beat me from now to tomorrow, I'll not accept that. So leave it there, because you have people, you have Itolo people, Itolo some people don't even know that there's Itolo in the there's a Basankomo, there's Basange, there's what's the other one?
But what would be the point of making any of these languages a
Yeah, the
national
point
language?
to be
You see, you have to wait. You see, you have to really listen to some wisdom. The history of French, Spanish, and English being languages that held the world. It's a history that you should still understand.
Arabic,
so
even
why
Arabic,
wait, let
Arabic
me finish.
even.
Let me finish. Why not, therefore, Chinese? That is an economy that holds over 1 billion people, and it's an economy that is the second largest economy in the world, due to be the first, if it's not the first already. These are serious economic reasons as to why you should involve yourself in such a language. The total that you're talking about, where two people are speaking it, how you bring that to the table? That's just creating an argument and more confusion. In Nigeria's case, where there are over 500 languages, which language should come to the fore? Come on, we have to be practical. We can't just be arguing for the sake of arguing.
See, what you need to understand, Jago, is that language is for convenience, right? And we have gone a long way. Even the Chinese you are talking about, most of them are learning the language. Even in the Middle East, they have their own languages. So, but they know that for them to operate internationally, they still have to adopt the English language. If you can't check, most of all those countries that you see that are speaking their own languages, they always make sure they learn English. It's not because they want to adopt the English language, but because they need it for global outreach. So we have to use language based on reach, not based on economy or whatever. It's what
no. It's both. It's both. It's not just one thing.
The Chinese language. Why you want to use them?
No. Listen to yourself. Listen to yourself. The Chinese language is a very old weighty. The Chinese language. You see, this is what I mean. Arguing for the sake of arguing. The Chinese. When you are emerging as an economic force, a cultural force, the soft power you would use would begin with your language, your art, and culture. These are what these other world global languages have been able to do. The Nigerian culture as a whole is emerging, but we don't know how to position ourselves to make sure our soft power works for us. And we just like arguing. We don't like understanding.
The Chinese language,
bring that idiot called OVA on table. He's somebody who just come here and argue for the sake of arguing. It won't make any sense. I don't like that kind of fragmented mindset.
All right, let's move on. Let's move on because I need to round up. Let's move on. Hold on. Oti, do you want to weigh in or move?
Okay.
Yeah, Oti, we're waiting for you. We can't hear you. Okay, try and see why we can't hear you. All right.
Can I just chip in one or two words?
Yes, chip in.
Yeah, if you look at the level of business transaction with China, I think it makes sense for that kind of thing to take place, because in business communication, language is critical. If you look at some of the issues that you have had with China a couple of times, not just Nigeria, some of the African countries, sometimes when contracts are signed and so on, they are signed not in English. Maybe in English, they are also signed in the Chinese language, manganese. So only for some countries to find out that the discussions and the agreements, from what they understand in English, was basically not what was presented to them, which they signed in the Chinese language. So there's the need, for to help our transaction, our relationship, because think of it. When I want to reduce this just to an ordinary level, when you speak, in a language of the person you are transacting with, there's some relationship that it promotes. There's some understanding more than when both of you are speaking two interpreters and so on and so forth. So I think, if you look at that with kind of investment that China has made in Africa and the kind of transaction that Nigeria has with China, I think there's a need for us to begin to promote that language, for, the basis of, transacting for transactions.
All right.
I think it's important.
All right. Thank you. Oti, are you ready now?
If I may add this, KJ, already there's a university in Nigeria running a Chinese program. I think that is Unizik at Yoka. So they know why. China established it for a department.
They've sold Nigeria to Chinese companies. So we are laughing at you guys think
they signed you on our behalf.
It's not fair. I hear you. I hear you.
Of course, you guys know. You guys know the reason why that is happening. If you don't know, go look at Zambia and Zimbabwe. Yeah, Zambia. No, Zimbabwe.
Namibia.
What's going on there? But let's move on because that's not the topic for today. Yes, Oti. Our last topic for today is actually what makes me feel. Oh no, the thing have gone off. Okay. Yeah, I'm here, but I don't have the video anymore. Okay, I've seen it now. So we'll watch that video and then we'll make our final comment. When you're watching the video, bear in mind that you're making your final take on this issue.
You miss Oti altogether now.
No, I'll come back to Oti. Don't worry. Oti, I have his back. Okay, so now in the week, the days gone by, we saw this video trending and we thought we should discuss it as our final today. I'm going to leave the elderly lady who was crying for her son in the army because I don't have what they.
Bien, enfin je saurai où je vais. Maman dit que lorsqu'on cherche bien, on finit toujours par trouver. Elle dit qu'il n'est jamais très loin, qu'il part très souvent travailler. Maman dit travailler c'est bien, bien mieux qu'être mal accompagné. Pas vrai?
Où est ton papa? Dis-moi où est ton papa? Sans même devoir lui parler, c'est ce qui ne va pas. Ah sacré papa, dis-moi où es-tu caché?
Ça doit
faire au moins 1000 fois que j'ai
compté mes doigts. Hey.
Où t'es papa, où t'es? Où t'es papa, où t'es? Où t'es papa, où t'es? Où t'es? Où t'es papa, 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 où t'es? Où t'es? Où t'es papa, où t'es?
Okay, Nigeria don't better. Food.
That song you played is a French song.
Food on nyafu now. So, in your final take on this issue, I'll start from you, Chim. Okay, let me start. Oti, are you back?
Yeah, like I was saying, that song you just played with the rice is a French song, by the way.
I didn't put it on.
No, it's not you. Like what the advert is a French
it's
song.
a part that put it there. Okay, CM, please go ahead. Now, why am I concerned? I'm concerned because that means that all what we have been doing, nothing seems to be happening because the people went all out to embrace this presidential food assistant.
There is this thing I watched. One of the from the archives of Nigeria Biafra War. This is exactly the same. You see people dragging their 3, 4, 5-year-old daughter or son, and then carrying a bag of maybe cornmeal or something, and then marching home. People are coming. Nigeria has gotten to that stage. A president that cannot address the country. You only see your president as an emblem on a bag of rice. I mean, that's a shame. That's a shame. You see, I believe in factual analysis from the evidence before us. I'm not bringing anything new. So looking at the picture, look at the way they lined up people. Of what use is that? No developed country, you don't. This is not a feature in African countries. So because the mistake people tend to make is that we when we come here we talk of because United States, Canada. Oh no. Let's concentrate now on Ghana. You can't see this thing in Ghana. You can't see this in Gambia. You cannot see
Benin Republic. You are going far. Benin Republic.
Okay, Benin Republic. So this has been this is the evidence. A country of over 200 million people. When economists, people that study public health, they will call it population. Economists will call it market. So let's stick to market. Nigeria is a viable market. We shouldn't be seeing this type of thing. A president. And I learned that what people tend to do is that when they get the bag of rice, they open it and transfer it into another container and throw away the bag that contains the president, because it's a shame. You are taking the president photograph on a bag of rice. Whom? Of what use is this? Why I have to then, going forward from here, is to tell people, let them understand the enormity of the problem Nigeria is going through. There is no gain pretending about it. People will come and tell you Tinubu is trying, he's doing this. This is not what we want. It's an eyesore. It's a shame of a country. Let me tell you, I'm in England, in UK. If the English people ever know that this type of thing is taking place in Nigeria, they will stop respecting me. I'm beating my chest. If they ever see this type of thing, they will come to me and say, is it really true what we are seeing? Because they don't take interest. They will be surprised. So this is imagine a shame of a nation. Of what is the meaning of this? Why not run the government the way it should be run? Establish industries, help small scale businesses so that people can buy this. I don't care. Somebody might not be, instead of obtaining this type of a bag of rice for free, let the person pay for it. It's more dignified, and there is dignity in paying for something. People will like to pay because you work, you earn the money, you pay, then you retain your humanity, than to drag your humanity to the mud because of the lying you under the sun. And then people will queue and they will start to, and I tell you, those people distributing this are not honest. This might not be the whole thing they will tell them to distribute. They will make something out of it, given that this is Nigeria. It's a shame of a nation. I'm not happy looking at, though I laugh, but I'm crying. We shouldn't come to this level. You now line people up and give them rice. If they complain of insecurity, you give them rice. If they complain of maybe hardship or whatever, you give them rice. How can Nigeria explain that in a budget, the essence of government is security of security of life and property, number one. Then, if you like, the welfare, add it number two. How can Nigeria, a country that budget more than 200-something billion naira for Federal Ministry of Health, will only release 38 million for capital project to Federal Ministry of Health? When we say Federal Ministry of Health, please don't see it as that building in Abuja that may be 10-story building or 4-story building or 5. No. Federal Ministry of Health means at least 37 federal teaching hospitals. That is Federal Ministry of Health. That is to say, LUT, Lagos University Hospital in Lagos, University College Hospital at Ibadan, UNTH at Enugu, NAUTH at Oka, then and UCTH in Calabar, UPTH in Port Harcourt, ABUTH in Kaduna, and so many others. That is, every state must have a teaching hospital or a federal medical center. So when you say Federal Ministry of Health, this is where those people go to, because they are federal institutions. And you release 38 million. Let's say 38 divided by 37, 1 million. What is 1 million to me, all of us in the diaspora? How many $1,000 will give you 1 million? How many $1,000? Just on few hundreds of naira, we give you, few hundreds of pounds, we give you 1 million. And that is what you release for University of Benin Teaching Hospital. That's why when you get to hospital, they say there's no bandage. We don't have a needle and syringe. Madam, if you cross the road, enter Okadas, you drive you down the street, turn left, then turn right. By that small place where they say there's a blood bank, buy blood there. You see, this is what we see. It's a shame of a nation. I can go on and on. It's a shame. We shouldn't come to this level at all. We have no business. Nigeria has no business with poverty. Do you know that lithium, what they use now, the latest technology in solar is lithium for lithium battery. They say the thing is in abundance in somewhere in Nigeria. Lithium. So we can even give ourselves solar energy. Forget about fossil fuel. We can do that. Why are we not doing it? Why are we suffering ourselves in the midst of plenty? We deliberately want to suffer ourselves.
It's disgusting.
When
put in that
honest,
way, it's just disgusting.
It's disgusting, Jagu. Because I don't want to apportion blame anymore. Why should we live? Why should we be in this type of condition when we have everything? We have lithium. I didn't know. The lithium is in Nigeria, and that's what you use for battery.
The lithium that we have, TM, is the best quality lithium in the world. That's what they have said.
Can you imagine?
It's not just ordinary lithium.
That is enough. Just bring the lithium, manufacture the battery. The sun is everywhere in the north. Give them solar plant. That's all. You solve it once and for all. In the south, you use what is it called? Hydropower. What is what Brazil used when they went to host the Olympics in 2016? They hosted World Cup 2014. They said it's too big for them. They have to step up their power system. They use hydro because Rio de Janeiro that hosted the Olympics in 2016 is on the coast. Lagos is on the coast, and so many cities are on the coast. Why can't we use it? I mean, why do we like to suffer? Look at the rice.
We like to suffer, bro. That's the breakdown. We like it. We enjoy it. You can see, right? People on this panel who would argue stupidity, which is saying that we should go further into our mire. I mean, personally, I don't understand it for nobody. I don't. People, we like suffering. That's the bottom line. That's why I call us stupid. We're stupid. We're not sensible people at all by any ramification. We're not.
I was told that suffering unifies people, but in our own context in Nigeria, it's not unifying anybody. It's
no,
sad.
sir.
Yeah, it's sad. I got an intel that by the year 2100, Africans will be 41% of the world population, meaning 4.4 billion plus of the people in this planet Earth will be identifying as Africans. What does that mean for Nigeria? And sadly, what we are seeing now is just it's an iceberg of what will be happening in the nearest future. Because by the year 2100, we might be going to 200 million plus population in Nigeria. And we have not even have a plan for people that will come in the next 50 years. The next set of generation of Nigerians have not been planned for yet. We are still dealing with the ones we have now. And we can't even sustainably sustain them. So it calls to mind what's going to happen in the next 50 years, 100 years, after we are all gone. What kind of struggle those people then will face as a nation?
You see, Bros, you see, the thing is, us being in the diaspora, I don't know what we're paying attention to, but it is there clearly written that they have a plan to recolonize Africa, recolonize the South. They want to hold power. And the way I'm looking at the whole thing, and I've seen this for over 25 years, if not more, that this is the plan that they have. And we have no plan at all in order to make sure that we are self-sufficient in our land. If we are self-sufficient in our land, there is no way anybody in the world, any country in the world can face us. No way. Because we have it all. We've been given it all by the Almighty. But because we're stupid, do you know there's a story in the Bible about the twins, Jacob and Esau? If you go into that story and just read it, it's not easy. It's not easy because we're supposed to be Jacob, but it turns out that we're looking more like Esau. I hope you know what I'm talking about, the people on the panel.
I won't go first.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. We just
KJ.
Tony, can you make don't take us away. Go back to the original topic.
Yes, we can go on and on and on and on and discuss Nigeria. It's an apology what is happening, and I think that what we see is not just it's abuse of capacity. The capacity is there, but we abuse it. I was listening to a video, and this is just to add to what CM said. I was watching a video where the government is offering to an Islamic cleric the sum of 500 billion for him to get together some Muslim clerics, and there's an indication, in that video too, that they have succeeded in talking to one or two big pastors to key into that movement so that they can project the view of the current government. They can promote that government. Whilst, like CM said, our health facilities and other critical sectors are decrepit. And the man said, no, in fact, they made him an offer when he was resisting that, you can take 2.5%. You can pocket that and then use the remaining to invest in this project. And it's all because election is close. And they're doing everything frantically, to ensure that they remain in power. Now, so you begin to wonder what kind of mindset is that if you can invest all this kind of money, launder all the money that we're seeing on things that are not productive and that will not help develop the economy. But where is that kind of money coming out from? From what vote? And how do you account for that? But the man was man enough to say, no, I'm not going to, 2.5% of 500 billion is a lot of money. And the man said, no, never. And so they said to him, listen, there is a pastor already, a prominent pastor, who has accepted to be part of this move. And still he refused. So you can see what is happening in the country. Total abuse. And because we are not challenging them enough, because they feel that they have cowed every other person and there's no opposition. And that's why they are going on and on and on. And it's a big shame. So how do we go from here? Where do we go from here? What do we do? How do we really challenge this system in a way that will show these people that we are serious? I don't know. The opposition is not doing anything for now that we see, and I would, so it's for me. That's why at the end of the day, I just I said, listen, there's no hope because I don't see any hope. Thank you.
Thank you. That's why people who are on the social media like you guys are the ones they are coming after now, because they have no way of controlling you or stopping you from talking about these things. And these things will constantly be in the public domain. There's a guy here who wants to know my work. I wasn't in the mainstream media. I've never said I'm a writer. Okay, I'm not a reporter. I didn't say that. So, and if I give you my work, you will know my name. I don't want to give you my name. I don't want to give you my identity. I only give it to those I think I'm comfortable with. Okay. I haven't said that. Let that be put to check. But if you want to know some of the work I've done, they are almost everywhere. And if you want to know also, the first time that Yar'Adua got to win the presidency, I and one other guy, I'm going to call his name because he's out there. His name is Emmanuel Ogebe. We did this report for ABC News for America that time from Nigeria. I got to know that Yar'Adua was going to win the day before he won because they sent him, and I was in Nigeria, and they actually recommended he meets me, and we met me, and we did that story. He interviewed, I shot the equipment and everything. So, my brother, I don't need to tell you who I am. If you don't believe that I practice journalism to the highest point, okay, at least in the media, then it's okay. I'm not here to, you know the popularity contest. I'm not trying to please you to get to, if I have not been able to display enough professionalism, both in technicality and otherwise, then I can't help you. All right. Thank you so much. What do you have to say? Do you agree with what Tony had just simply said? And I also agree with all of them. The truth is that, are we considering our generation to come, or are we just, rolling around the circle? I don't understand. Honestly, tell the truth. You know the reason why you can't help the situation, I mean, why you're putting your thoughts together, is that you cannot wake somebody who's pretending to be sleeping. Because we know what the problems are. We are pretending that those problems don't exist. Then how do we now tackle it? Look at how they are playing music and people are running around. I know people say they are not going to vote. They're only collecting the rice. If you are collecting the rice alone not to vote, it's okay. But there's a video of a woman saying that anybody who won't vote for Tinubu is cursed. How will we now solve the problem? Because the same people we are fighting for, sitting here every day and talking for, fighting for, struggling to help to send money to Nigeria, are the same people who are not going to live to, or even bear one day to stand and change our situation. How then do we go about solving this issue, Ife? Okay, if he's not with us, Oti, you can make your contribution.
Right. Hello. Good evening, everyone. What? I mean, those of you that can talk, yes, I doff my cuff. It's not easy. Yeah, Tony. I agree with you to an extent, and my agreement is that is a hopeless situation. But then, because we cannot live life without hope, so we cannot stop at that hopelessness. I'm a practical person. Now, in other words, we have a common have an agreement, a common understanding, which is that where we find ourselves is that we cannot continue along the same path. Okay, so the only question is, I mean, which the same question he posed: what to do? Where do we go from here? For me, in summary, the summary of it is this, because it doesn't really need a lot of elaboration. One can easily make up one's mind and come to a conclusion when you've looked at the situation. So with them people, the crop of people steering the ship, the ship of Nigeria, this kind of characters, most of them actually should be in jail, and it may still happen, because this life, there's a way. Life is nobody has control of life. Okay, not even the president of America. So some of them may still end up where they really belong. But anyway, the question is this: there's a process, whether you like it or not, or whether no matter how if like distorted, how corrupted it is, somehow we all can be part of it, or at least show interest in it, because, as I said, we can't live life without hope, and therefore whatever opportunity there is, we have to try and make the best of it. And this in practical terms means that there will be a general election in Nigeria. I don't know, it's just that is like the plan. That is what is the only game in town, as it were. General election, which they have started, the campaign, the rice sharing is a part of it. So if you ask me, I would say for conscientious. I mean, for Nigerians that are thinking like human beings, as I believe most of us are here, are here thinking like human beings. There are people that are, beneath human. And never mind, wearing fine suits and, it doesn't make you a human being. So, one can easily come to the conclusion that if this coming election, 2023 is history, is gone. If it does not produce that, change of direction, that turnaround, if it does not produce that opportunity for renewal, national renewal, a new start, because that's what we need, a break, a new start. Without that, I don't know. So if 2027 does not present the opportunity for a new start, that conclusion that most of us have come to, in other words, that we've come to the end of the road for Nigeria presently constituted, we have to, all of us, all of our energies really have to be concentrated in bringing about a demise. So this again aligns with KJ, your habitual or customary, shall I say, idiom or proverb. We cannot wake a sleeping man. Somebody who's you cannot wake up somebody who's pretending to be asleep. So it has to come to an end. So what are we talking about? I mean, how long would this go on? It's not Nigeria. It's not a fact of nature. It's not. Talking about will of God or whatever. No. Come on, we can have our own will, and decide what we want. Experimentally, we can experiment. I mean, what's the fear? Of failure. We can try something new. And I, for one, I believe that with all the challenges or problems, we can all encounter in our various, zones, because what it boils down to is really, is like control, power, resources. Okay, so at least when we find ourselves in our various zones or regions or states, I think there is a greater chance, better prospect of kind of managing our affairs and pursuing a vision of like a successful nationhood. That's what we're lacking. We don't have, of course, is a given. There's no nation. We don't have a nation in Nigeria. We have nations. A country, even country or state, that is questionable. A state, a country that cannot protect its borders, that's not a country. This is a fallacy of a nation state. Is a country. So it's pure deception. For how long are we gonna carry on like this? It's just a joke of making a joke of ourselves. I'm ashamed. Really, what can one say looking at these people? So you're a president after 3 years in office. The only thing you have going for you, or the way you think you can convince people, bring people to your side, is to share bags of rice. This will have no shame. This will have no shame. Really, it's
But
yeah,
Oti,
I don't know. I don't talk too much. There's nothing to talk.
No, Oti. I see where you have come to. But when you say these people have no shame, you're speaking about the governors, the governing body, the government.
Yes.
Is it those that don't have shame, or is it the people who are accepting rice as payment that have no shame? Because you see, no, I'm fed up to the back teeth of excuses. There is no point. Wait, please. I'll leave it with you. There is no point in having any such thing as an election 2027 because of 2023. 2023 happened, and we know that was our opportunity for something new to arrive. Our last opportunity, in actual fact. But because we're stupid Nigerians, we're thinking that 2027 is another opportunity. It's stupidity. It is rank.
No, sorry. Okay, listen. As I said, stupidity is something that is common to all humanity. Yesterday, I think I made a point that it's not something that is peculiar to Nigerians or to Nigeria. So really, that's not, it doesn't help anyone further. And by the way, no, I can't blame the people that are suffering, that are collecting the.
Who are you going to blame?
No. Sorry, excuse me. Let me finish. It's not. I'm
asking a real question. How long have we blamed the Prime Minister, the President, and everybody? How long have we done that?
Excuse me. You see,
go on.
Hold on.
Keep boring us.
No, I can't blame the people that are hungry, that are impoverished, are starving. Blaming them is what's the point? Now, excuse me. It's leadership. You are in power. You have the power. You have the responsibility. You have the resources. You have the means.
That means you're still waiting.
No,
that means you are. That means no. It's okay.
You pose the question. I want to answer it. Okay. So I'm telling you. You see, governance. You see, you have the responsibility. That's what leadership is all about, right? So why are you blaming people that are impoverished? That people that have in the governments have deliberately impoverished. Okay.
Oti, sorry, can I just?
But that doesn't mean the people have the right to reject that right.
No.
Oti, can I just? Listen, yesterday.
We're already gone beyond our time.
Okay, quickly, let me just say something. Yesterday, every Saturday, I participate in community service where I am. The government, NGOs, and so on give my church some funds to be able to do some interventions, to provide food, clothing, and so on and so forth for people who need it. Employment, advisory services in the area of health, and so on and so forth. So there's nothing wrong with government, making provisions for people, but not the way that is being done, purposely because of election. There are channels to which you can direct these things that they'll be more impactful, in helping people, particularly people who are in need. But here, the way it is done here, it doesn't make sense. And that's the issue.
But I agree. You see, I agree. And that's the more reason why I said blaming the people is really kind of is misconceived. The government, the people that have the power, okay, is entirely their responsibility. Okay, so entirely they need the food.
No, I disagree with that. With that.
No.
People have the choice.
Let us
have the choice to decide whether they will accept it or
not.
Because listen, my friend, because you can afford 3 square meals. That's what. Hold on, you can afford 3 square meals, and then you're talking about choice. Come on, let's be realistic, okay? Because you're not starving. Because you're not thinking about what they're gonna eat tomorrow. That's why you can pontificate about people having the choice. What does choice mean?
Okay.
What does choice mean?
All right, gentlemen.
One always has a choice.
Can we hear?
Life is choices.
If you have the last say,
if you are speaking on choice, people made a choice 2015. Don't forget that.
If you have the last say. Okay, gentlemen, now relax. Well, if you have the last say.
Even when the going was good, people said no. And no matter how much you give me, this is where I want to go.
Jeffrey. Hi, everybody. So I was just watching. Good evening, everybody. Jago, CM, Jeffrey, calm down, I beg. Calm down. CM, Oti, my brother, Tony. Good evening, sir, everybody.
Sorry, yes, I'm calm. I'm just bringing people back to memory lane.
Don't worry, it's not that serious, my brother. Trust me. It's not that serious. Now you people they take this. It's not that serious. Abba. Nigeria was there when you got. When you leave, Nigeria will still be there. I swear. So calm down. Good evening. Like I said, I was just watching the apology of this guy, that this lady, that Umahi sexually, assaulted or molested or threatened. Now she has, she has come out again to make another apology. But I don't really want to blame her so much. She got her money. She got her 110 million. They said she was paid in dollars. So I might not, but what she did, gonna make other people not to come out and support other women. That is the only problem I have. Because tomorrow, if you ask somebody like Mama P to come out, Randy Peters, Aisha Yusufu, even Natasha Akpoti, if you ask people like that, and other Nigerians, Idris flew from, I think, Lagos or from Benin to Abuja. He doesn't know this woman. And then, she betrayed them. And that is where integrity comes in. Do we have it? No. Sometimes when we come here to criticize our leaders, we are worse than them. I was asking some, we were into argument. And I told one of my friends, I said, if they put you there, you'd be worse than these people. He said, if it's a lie, it's a lie. I will never. I said, that's what they told us. The people there, they told us they're going to walk. Look at it. So whether they are using juju or I don't know, but once you people go over there, it becomes a different story. Anyway, so the woman with this guy, David Umahi, I'm so, if I tell you I wasn't disappointed and shocked. Sure, I mean, I don't even know where he gets the energy, left his family in New Jersey to come here to be fighting for Nigerians. Yes, he's paying the dues. But you have seen the type of people we have in power, because Umar is shamelessly coward. I mean, I don't even know the word I can use to qualify the man. It's not only one person, even Mazio Binna. There was another of his classmates. After calling him.
One too have been settled. She has settled that one now.
That's what I'm saying. That one came out to apologize. In my mind, I was like, does this man think we are even stupid? Why are you telling these people to come and say that they are sorry and all that stuff? Do you think we don't know what money has exchanged hands? Anyway, these are the people you have in power. And this is how they reason. Everything is all about power, oppression. That is the only thing we see. And that's exactly what Tinubu is doing to Nigerians. So my question about what is going on, people are complaining. Like I said, I spoke to my brother this morning, and you can see the pain. You can hear that. I tried to explain to him, it's the same thing in America. It's everywhere. And he was like, there is no way out. I mean, this is getting worse and worse and worse. I can feel the pain. My brother that I know, I can feel the pain. Not even forget about the electricity. And like I said, the last time that I was in Nigeria, said, we have electricity, this starting from this time to time, we have power. For 2-3 days now, no power. If you see the heat, then you calculate the cost of buying fuel and putting your generator, and you on it for how many hours. It's not that it's even the electricity is the problem. Even when the fan is blowing, it's blowing hot. It's blowing hot. Nigeria is going, but Tinubu is busy, sharing rice. Power minister is busy getting ready for election in Oyo State. And you ask yourself, where is your conscience? The one thing we could have gotten right, we didn't get it right, or Tinubu did not get it right. If it's somebody in his right sense of mind, what he will do, he will sack the power minister and tell him to get out. Instead, he disconnected from electricity and powered this thing with solar. So for those of us who cannot afford the solar, you guys can buy. They are busy sharing rice everywhere, up and down. If you say hello, it's rice. So only rice that you will eat 7 days a week. no protein, no beans, no yam. It's rice. And you ask yourself, anyway, Nigerians, we have a lot of sense. And again, we talked about Tinubu, the master strategy yesterday. And, I keep saying it, Tinubu, I don't think he has some sense in him. Because the easiest thing he could have done for Nigeria, the easiest thing, he did not do it. All these things that he's doing, trust me, he shouldn't have been doing all these things if he has worked for Nigeria. I know my people, because when he got into power, we were like, okay, let's give him a chance and see, maybe things will turn around. But the first day he took the oath of office was the same day that the pain of Nigerians started and even has gotten worse. And even to continue to get worse. If he puts himself in power next year, because that's what's going to happen. If Tinubu wins the election next year, he's going to put himself in power. It's going to be times, what you're seeing now will be times 2. Well, everybody's providing water for themselves. Everybody.
If he has more time to do it.
Okay, he has 1 year to do it. What you did not achieve in 3 years, you're going to achieve it in 1 year. Why? The money you are spending buying all these things, trying to buy people in the north, trying to buy people in the east. If he has spent that money in providing infrastructure, I trust my Nigerian people, even if it is one thing that he has focused and said, okay, this is what I'm going to do for people of Nigeria. Trust me. Look at OT. We can't continue to talk about OT. Who is going to challenge OT? Even this thing Benjamin Kalu and other Kalu is doing, they know they're just wasting their time. He doesn't need to campaign. The people of Abia will campaign for him. He doesn't need to stand and tell people vote for him. He will be in his house and people will be campaigning for him. Somebody say after OT, his wife, his sons will be governor. The generations of OT, that's what somebody said. And why? Because of single act of a woman, Dr. Mrs. Nnenoti. Just because she decided that she's not going to be bought with money. That's what she said. It is somebody that will do it. And guess what she did? If not, Abia would have been suffering by now again. But she said no. They pushed her. She stood her ground. There is nothing they did not do. She stood her ground. That woman, she deserves a national honor in the state of Abia. In fact, they need to build a statue of her in Abia State. Abia State is the only state I can tell you that is doing well. Any other state, just let me know. I can't think of any other state. If not that the governors are oppressing the people. I said it the other day, I think it was Danfara. They budgeted 1 billion for this fasting season. That's what did they give to their citizens? Gari and kuli.
Ifi, sister, you answered the question. You've answered the question where all these men, excuse me if I include you, or Oti particularly, doesn't want to have people stand up. You said this woman stood up. She didn't allow it. She stood her ground. It's the only way. That's the only way. You thinking that the irresponsible government that we've had since the beginning is going to become responsible tomorrow, you're a bloody fool. I don't care. You're a bloody fool. I don't mean to be abusive, but that's tomfoolery. How can you even speak that out of your mouth for sensible people to listen to? That we should follow all over again. That's rubbish, man.
No, hold on, sorry.
I'm afraid we'll have to leave it there. Oti, want to make something?
No, but I mean, is he trying to interpret me? That's not what I said.
No, it's not.
That's what you said, though. You said let's stay weak and follow government and go and vote. Rubbish. Rubbish. Okay, you guys wait for Ifi to finish now. If you don't pronounce everything, she said if we don't stand up, there's nothing for us. That's what she said in the breakdown.
Let's finish now. I think you took the word away from her.
Why you say that? I'm agreeing with the woman. I'm agreeing with her and disagreeing with Oti. Why are you coming to
let her
character? Let her see anything.
KJ, please, because at least this is a kind of a mischaracterization, a misinterpretation.
No, it's you, right? It's you all over. You're just going to try and play with words.
Let me just say what
doesn't matter.
What I said. Listen,
it's that we should waste our time for another 4 years.
Hold on now.
Oti, I like you a lot, I like you a lot, bro. But you're extremely wrong.
Hold on, listen. You see, so Professor Oti stood up, okay, for Abia people, and they got it right, okay? What I'm saying, if come 2027, Nigeria cannot get it right, it doesn't matter how it comes about, whether by one man or one woman or a dozen men, dozen women, to stand up for Nigeria, for us to have that turnaround, that change.
Can I ask you one question?
I said, we pack it up, okay?
Very good.
Words,
very good.
What I said.
Oh, wonderful. Can I ask you one question?
No, don't ask a question.
Wait. Are you aware that the government has written into law that the beavers and the immediate association of the voting is now ruled out, which means that in order for them to rig this election is going to be easier than last time. Are you aware of that?
Okay.
Yes, I know about that. Okay. Listen to me. If you paid attention to remember, I started by agreeing with Tony, but I added a rider. Okay. I believe we can never lose hope. Hope springs eternal. I'm realistic. I'm idealistic and realistic at the same time. Okay. You can't give up hope. All right. But it doesn't mean I with me. So we really have to understand my thinking.
We need to end now. We've gone too far. We need to end now. Thank you, guys. I mean, I just need to cut it. Yeah, I want you guys to rant, but everybody have taken all the time. And I just came in from a long weekend. So thank you so much, every one of you. The discussion obviously is not going to have an end. Yeah, I particularly appreciate those from England who are there. Your time is almost 3 o'clock right now. I appreciate you, CM Jagun.
1:30. Thank you.
Appreciate you, Tony. Tony's around here. I don't know what the time is, but I know it's favorable.
I'm in England too.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Oti, sorry.
In Manchester.
Yes, thank you so much. People, the men, when they chess men, that's Manchester. Okay. So thank you so much. Jefferson and my sister Ify. Thank you so much. You guys have held the program. I didn't think I was going to do up to 2 hours, but here we are hitting 3 hours, 32 minutes. I think it's gone far.
And sorry, and you Americans, how is the war going?
I think Tony will be in a better position to answer that question.
Your time zone.
But sorry, let me tell you guys. I don't know how many of you know. How many of you know the Habermas? How many have heard of him? Habermas, a German philosopher and sociologist. You don't know, does anybody know him?
No, if Jago doesn't know him, then all of us don't know him because
he died yesterday. He's an important figure, intellectual figure. Jürgen Habermas. So just he died yesterday at 96.
Okay, no, I saw the. I don't know. I saw the.
Yeah, me too. I saw that.
I don't know him, so I didn't relate it to anything. I saw.
Oh no, yes, I know him. I know him. He's one of the greats.
Okay, I didn't know him, but I saw the something on Facebook that
he passed. Jürgen Habermas.
I don't know
when it comes to political theory, and
So is it that his death is now bringing to a closure of the political system that we have always known? Anyway,
no, it's just that somebody, if you're kind of into this kind of philosophy and sociology, political theory.
We read world events vis-a-vis what's going on.
And by the way, critical theory, the Frankfurt School. So it's a kind of second generation critical theorists.
Okay, thank you so much.
An important figure, yeah.
Ify, thank you so much. Thank you for bringing your sister to Dr. Ify's sister. Dr. Ify's sister. All right. On that faithful note, we say thank you. And again, I want to reiterate those who this guy, what's his name now? Chana. The day you appear here on this program and give us an insight and argue as you argue on the keyboard, I will now privately send you my work.
Okay, my work is out there, so it's not anything hidden. All right, thank you so very much, everybody, all of you in the comment section. You have done great. You guys are the one that make the program go well, because sometimes when the thing is going too hot and I read some of the chats, some of what people write, I don't know whether to just fall on the ground, because it's so funny. It's so funny, you know. And Ovie, I'm not a pundit, and that word is P-U, not P-O. All right.
Don't leave him. He didn't go to primary school. He started. he began his intelligence when he was 14. Somebody saw him running after an antelope, and he said, this guy fast too. And that's where his education began.
But we all appreciate you guys, whether you are in support or you're not in support, whether you're just here to catch your phone, yabbing everybody, or you're not, or you come for the good purpose. We appreciate you. Nick, he has gone off. He was here. It's the first time of joining. We appreciate his contribution, and he was very apt on the points. So
he was a good guy.
Yeah, come back. Do come back. Those of us here don't have monopoly of knowledge. Some of you also not appearing have even better information than we have. If you have it, bring it and enrich the program.
I think we have to. I think we have to thank Jefferson, because we normally abuse him very well, but he did a great job of. He did a great job of moderating. Even though it was just on one level, we can see he has aptitude for that.
Don't forget Master. Don't forget Master.
Master is always my. Although we don't, we don't agree, but me and Master have no problem. Yeah, my challenge is always the fact that they don't want us to talk about Biafra, and me, I'm gonna talk about it. So if I'm gonna talk about it, I'm arranging a very powerful one we're going to discuss very soon. But on that note, yes, of course. People have a proverb, Jagun, that the day lizard leave the foot of the big tree, that day they die you. So you must go around the big tree to be so that before anybody catch you, you're up in the Iroko tree, back to where you belong. So that's how it is. We'll not leave discussing that the issue of Nnamdi Kanu, because right now Nnamdi Kanu, Sunday Igboho, and all that. I have a video of Sunday Igboho declaring and saying that Yoruba nation is gone forever. It is now. So these guys are people that we need to watch. This is our own political space, and we can discuss them without malice. I remember the first time I saw that without malice is somebody. My visa had expired, and I wanted to go, get it. And so the guy asked me, to ask him what you use this one. I said no. So he stamped it, and I read the stamp on it. He said, that council without malice. I said, okay, this is a new word for me. So it's without malice. We'll discuss these issues in the coming days ahead of us. Until that time, God bless all of you, and please remain safe and keep safe. Bye.
Have a nice week.
Thank you,
everyone.
Well done, Oti.
Okay, good night.
Good night.
This violent assault caused severe injuries, ultimately resulting in brain damage. She was rushed to the hospital and tragically passed away several days later. Following the incident, the school decided to expel
1,911,844,833 naira and 46